Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome to 3 hours of random Fallout New Vegas locations. This video is a compilation of my series, the Unexplored Mojave, and it'll just be all of the episodes compiled together. This was actually requested by a few people who use my videos actually to fall asleep, so I decided to listen to their requests. Now, this video could serve many purposes. To fall asleep, or if you want to learn some random facts about Fallout New Vegas, this video will also prove to be useful for you. As I started the Unexplored Mojave, it was intended to kind of explore unknown locations, but it ended up becoming a series in which we explored all locations and tried to discover interesting facts or interesting loot or anything of note in those areas. So sit back, relax, pop open a beer, and let's explore the Mojave Wasteland. Hello everyone, Army of Otters here, and this is the start of a new series called the Unexplored Mojave. This is a series where I will show interesting or maybe areas overlooked in normal Fallout playthroughs. So the first area here is Coyote Den. As you can see, the den has a lot of coyotes in it. And the reason I chose this is because I never really remembered this location. There's several coyotes in this cave, followed by bones of a Brahmin and some humans. And there's also a dead ghoul here, a Bright follower, which is from the cult of Jason Bright in the quest Come Fly With Me. Anyways, I just thought it was a really weird kind of remote location. It's just north of Nipton. If you come back, the coyotes will respawn. I've always thought coyotes were a weird creature in Fallout, just because most creatures are mutated, but coyotes retain their original form, and they're not very threatening. Anyways, nearby is a place called Jackrabbit Springs, a highly radiated area with pools of water that is radioactive. I was just wondering maybe this has something to do with Jason Bright and that dead ghoul. Speaking of the dead ghoul, I find it kind of funny that there's dead humans and a dead ghoul in here, just because even in real life, coyotes are not so threatening. Next to the cave, we can find this kind of truck, and I was just thinking this truck is kind of cool because it blends old America with nuclear power, and I've never seen it in any other Fallout games, only in New Vegas. Nearby you can see Nipton, a water tower, and it's kind of a very peaceful atmosphere. So anyways guys, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and tune in next time. Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're looking at Mathews Animal Husbandry Farm. This is a location in southern New Vegas, kind of close to Camp Searchlight. Actually, you could just see Camp Searchlight in the distance. You greet it with a burnt down house, one of those trucks I mentioned in the last video, 2 barns, and an interesting animal, malnourished bighorner. And there's also malnourished Brahmin. So right away you kind of get the feeling that this place used to be active, but now it's abandoned. And these animals are all over the farm. And you can go in both barns, but there are no people, just tons of animals. But scattered around the barn are these notes. There's 4 notes which tell a pretty dark story. The first note, found in the southwestern barn, reads as follows: Dear Diary, Mom and Dad went into the NCR camp nearby to trade for supplies, but they haven't come back yet. I hope nothing bad has happened to them. So this is referring to the NCR camp in Camp Searchlight. And if you know anything about New Vegas, Camp Searchlight was attacked by a radiation bomb from the Legion. The next note is found in the back of the truck here, and it reads as follows. Dear Diary, I took a chance today and left the animals alone to go look for Mom and Dad. I found them in that camp. They had become horrible feral ghouls. I didn't know what to do. They came at me so fast. Oh God, what have I done? So obviously this person's now in a very bad situation. His parents are now ghouls. The third page reveals more information. Dear Diary, I hate being all alone. I want my mom and dad back, but I can't have them back because I killed them. I didn't want to kill them, but I had to kill them, otherwise they would have eaten me. I hope the animals don't eat me. Can animals become ghouls? Now we know this person is very scared and they're afraid of being eaten. The final note is in the burnt down house and it reads, "Dear Diary, the animals, they are evil. They try to eat me in my sleep. They want the farm for themselves. Now that Mom and Dad are gone, they want the farm for themselves. They are plotting against me, plotting to eat me. They are becoming ghouls like my parents, and they want to eat me like my parents did. Too many of them to kill them all. I know what I'll do. I'll burn down the house around me. Then the animals can't eat me because there will be nothing left for them to eat." As you read this final note, you realize where you are. The burnt down house, the skeleton of a kid next to you, 2 graves outside marking the child's parents. It all becomes very dark. Such a simple place in the Mojave wasteland that many people would overlook, but yet it tells such a deep and dark story. And that's why I wanted to make this series. There are so many locations scattered around the Mojave wasteland, and it's amazing how many of them tell a story. There's no location that's just there for filler. Obsidian really went out of their way to tell a story with each location. You just have to go searching for it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you tune in next time for the Unexplored Mojave. Hello everyone, Army of Otters here, and welcome back to Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at the crashed Vertibird, which is south of Novak, southern New Vegas, south of the Mathews Animal Husbandry Farm, which we visited last time. This is actually requested by a user, Ian Boykin, so shout out to him. As you approach the Vertibird, you're going to notice a lot of red dots on your radar because there's a lot of robots here, so I use my anti-material rifle combined with Gannon and Eddie, and I could clear them out easily. Now, the reason I brought Gannon, Arcade Gannon, with me was because he has special dialogue when you bring him to the crashed Vertibird. So here's the crashed Vertibird, just in this little canyon that it created. And as you approach, Gannon will talk to you, and his dialogue's a little funny.
Interesting. What does anyone know about them? Big flying machines, right? Crazy helicopters. So weird.
Now, there's also a special weapon here called the Tesla Beton prototype, which is a Tesla cannon, an upgraded version, so you definitely want to take that. And then there's not much else to do here, but you see 2 dead bodies, presumably like pilots or passengers. And something I wanted to mention is why Gannon sounds awkward in that dialogue is because he doesn't trust you yet at this point, because you don't know about his history with the Enclave, and this Vertibird actually has an Enclave insignia on it. So maybe the Vertibird belonged to the Enclave, or maybe it belongs to another group after the Enclave's demise. Now, this location is also an Easter egg for a location in Fallout 2. Klamath Canyon in Fallout 2 also featured a crashed Vertibird with robots surrounding it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Now, before ending this video, I just want to say thank you so much for all of the support I've gotten for some of these videos, the Unexplored Mojave. So I will continue making these videos. I love Fallout New Vegas, and making videos is a lot of fun, so I hope you guys enjoy them, and thank you so much for the positive feedback. Also, if you ever want to see a location featured, please let me know in the comment section below. Again, thank you so much for watching. Hello everyone, Army of Otters here, and welcome back to Unexplored Wasteland. Today we're looking at Searchlight Airport. This was recommended to me by Joke of 5119. I probably butchered the name, sorry, but he said goes second airport and south through Searchlight. So I believe he wanted me to go to Searchlight Airport, which is in the southernmost part of the map. As you can see, it's next to Camp Searchlight, the town that was attacked with radiation by the Legion. So the comet told me to enter from the south, and upon doing so I found like a trailer park, and I've never really knew this was here, so I decided to go explore that first. There really is not much here though, it's really just Fallout New Vegas's version of a trailer park. A lot of the trailers you cannot even enter. As you can see with this one, the entrance is blocked off. But this one you could enter, and there was a cabinet with some bottle caps and Rataway, but not much else. So after going to the trailer park, we started heading towards the airport, and a lot of the locations in New Vegas are real-life locations, including this airport. But the airport in real life is pretty barren. There's no control tower, there's not much there. So this airport has been built up in the Fallout universe. Also, I was curious as if this tunnel was there, but it's not. But it reminds me of the old Denver Stapleton Airport, where the road goes underneath the runway. So as you come into the airport, you have to go through this collapsed tunnel. There's a car with some luggage, but you can't actually open the luggage. And as you come out of the collapsed tunnel, you will discover the airport as an official fast travel marker. There's a lot of these rad scorpions around here, and also a crashed jet. As you turn around, you will see the control tower and the passenger terminal. So as I said, in real life, there's none of this here. So in the Fallout universe, this airport obviously has some significance, probably to the Camp Searchlight town. Or it has some military use, maybe? Anyway, you can explore the exterior as much as you want, but unfortunately you cannot go inside the airport. So, as you can see here, I try to go into the airport, but yeah, you can't. Also, I missed it, but there's two trunks over here that have a lot of caps. One had 450, the other had 430. Apparently it depends on your luck skill, though. These jets, I think, are pretty cool, because I've really never seen anything like this in the Fallout universe. Of course, we see vertibirds, but we never see really jets, so this is kind of cool, I think. Now, this whole area feels a little bit unpolished. This is the edge of the southern part of the map, so you cannot go out that fence there, unless you use, mods or a glitch or something, of course. Here we have what I assume are oil tanks, but I actually know nothing about aviation, so maybe somebody in the comments could tell me what all of this equipment would be used for, but I would assume just oil tanks, maybe. Here we have two signs, warning signs, for whatever these things are. But overall, I really liked exploring this place, so I'm glad it was recommended. It's been one of my favorite places to explore, and it's a place I've never been to before in any New Vegas playthrough, so it was really cool. On the other end of the runway, there's another jet, and underneath is a ammunition crate and metal box with some ammunition, so, not bad. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. This series has been a lot of fun to do, and I look forward to making more videos. If you have any recommendations or feedback, please post it in the comment section below. Until next time. Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to go to Deathclaw Promontory. This is an unmarked location in New Vegas. Kind of a special location because it's the only area east of the Colorado that is accessible. Anyways, you have to make your way down the cliff here, which is a little bit tricky. And then you have to swim across the river to get to the other side. So as I said, this area is east of the Colorado. The only other places are Caesar's Legion. And the reason this place is special is because it's often said to be the hardest place in the game. And as the name might suggest, Deathclaw Promontory, this place is inhabited by about 36 Deathclaws, making it arguably the most difficult place in any Fallout game. So if you come here, you want to make sure you are very well armed. However, the reward for getting through all the Deathclaws is quite good. You can get the Remnant's power armor. It's the only other way in the game to get it without completing the Arcade Ganon questline. So, as you can see, I brought some mini nukes to help fight my way through these Deathclaws. So yeah, this place was much harder than I anticipated. And you have to be fucking kidding me. After all of that, I forgot to save. So a quick trip to the gun runners, buy some more ammunition, some more mini nukes, and then heading back, going down the cliff, going across the river, and we are back at the Deathclaw Promontory. I used the same tactic as before, using mini nukes on the first few waves of the Deathclaws because they're kind of bunched up together. But I almost killed myself a couple of times. But I think this tactic proved to be the most effective at getting rid of the Deathclaws. They come, fire some mini nukes, but this one survived and almost killed me and pushed me into the water. Now, little did I know though, this Deathclaw was actually quite special. You see, this turned out to be the legendary Deathclaw Jesus. He can not only walk on top of water, but he can walk underneath water. After chasing Deathclaw Jesus out of the water, I was finally able to get him into a position where me and Eddie could kill him. Upon swimming across the Colorado River once again, we found that Deathclaw Jesus had been resurrected, and again he tried to run into the water. However, this time I chose to ignore him. I ran up the cliff and I continued my reign of terror on some Deathclaws. But not before plopping a save, just in case the worst would happen. And as fate would have it, I would soon encounter the biggest, most dangerous enemy in the game itself. Since Deathclaw Promontory is kind of out of the way, it's one of the least polished areas in the game. I had so many bugs while I was here, and that's saying a lot for Fallout New Vegas. Anyways, after a reload, I was able to continue my rampage on the Deathclaws. After finishing up this group, I noticed there was a severe lack of Deathclaws. It seemed like there was a lot less than the previous time I was here. So I was walking around, and once again, the biggest enemy, the game itself.
All of this just works. It just works.
Upon relaunching the game after the freeze, I noticed there were a ton more Deathclaws right next to me, even though these Deathclaws were absent before the game froze. And, well, they screwed me up. Thankfully, though, the next time the game was much more generous, and the mother Deathclaw got stuck on a rock, and Eddie came over to assist me in killing these Deathclaws. I found the anti-material rifle with explosive bullets to be an indispensable weapon against the Deathclaws. Sometimes the mini nuke is just too big of an explosion to use effectively, so the anti-material rifle is good for taking them out at a closer range and being more precise with your shots. After killing those Deathclaws, we head over to the dead prospectors. We have two dead prospectors who are probably looking for a mining area. On their dead corpse is the Remnant's power armor, along with some T-51 on the other corpse. After looting the prospectors, we got ambushed by some more Deathclaws. Me and Eddie were able to take care of them, no problem. Then I decided to kill the resurrected Deathclaw Jesus. And there you have it, Deathclaw Promontory. What might be the most difficult location in the entire Fallout franchise. It's one of my favorite areas because it's difficult, it feels so out of place being on the eastern part of the Colorado River, and it's unmarked. It just feels so hidden and out of touch from the rest of the game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And Until next time. Now, little did I know, though, this Deathclaw was actually quite special. Deathclaw Jesus. Hello everyone, Army of Otters here, and today we're exploring Lucky Jim Mine. This was recommended to me by Reese Reinhardt 8419. I hope I said that right. But as you can see in the last video, I went to Deathclaw Promontory, and then Reese Reinhardt recommended that I come to Lucky Jim Mine to find the Deathclaw Jesus. So Lucky Jim Mine is a pretty isolated location. It's way out in the middle of the Mojave. It's actually kind of by Deathclaw Promontory, where we were last time. But there's not a whole lot around it. There's like an NCR camp. Upon finding the mine, you'll find a lot of fire geckos. You saw me killing them early. From the little house up here, it's pretty easy to kill them, because this house is a little bit difficult to get to. Over here, we have like what is a wheelbarrow or mining cart. And then there was also a skeleton, as you saw, underneath the roof there. And if you come inside, there isn't a whole lot, but there is a book in here, lying congressional style. So you want to make sure you pick that up if you come here. But I picked that up earlier in this playthrough, so I'd actually already discovered this place. But there's not a whole lot here, but you can tell it's been used by miners. You have bunk beds, a refrigerator, and some tables. Then below the house, you can find the actual mine, Lucky Jim Mine, and an abandoned like mining cart. But you can't go inside. So if Deathclaw Jesus was resurrected here, he probably is trapped inside, or he already escaped. One or the other. And as with so many places in Fallout New Vegas, Lucky Jim Mine is actually a real location in real life in Nevada. But it's also abandoned and not much in real life either. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you tune in next time. If you have any recommendations for the next place to visit, please leave it in the comment section below. Hello everyone, Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're looking at the Mesquite Mountains campsite and crater. As you can see, it's actually located close to the beginning of the game, next to Prim. So it's just west of there. So as you come up on the campsite, it's kind of like a standard campsite. You have some grills, you have some trash cans, there's rad scorpions in the area, and then you have some benches for eating. Over there is a campfire. In this first tent, you can actually get the Wasteland Survival Guide, which will rank up your survival skill. And the second tent is just some Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles and beds. There's really not much to do here, but I think it's a very beautiful location, and you can actually use it as the player's home because you can store stuff safely here. But I think it's a very peaceful and beautiful location in Fallout New Vegas, and certainly a place I had never been to in a previous playthrough. Alright, our next location is the Mesquite Mountains crater, which is just north of the campsite. So it's part of the same mountain range. Now, the story here is actually, this is where one of the atomic bombs detonated. So when the Great War happened, most of the atomic bombs were destroyed by Mr. House and protected New Vegas, but some still detonated outside or around New Vegas. So this is one of those locations. And as you can see, it's highly radiated. And when you come here the first time, there's going to be a lot of ghouls. But for whatever reason, they didn't respawn for me. There was only one ghoul here. And in this series, we've encountered a lot of glitches like Deathclaw Jesus, and it just so happens that this ghoul is insane, like more than a normal ghoul. after killing all of the ghouls, you can actually head into the place above you. It's called Hell's Motel. Interesting name. From obsidian, you have some fungus growing outside. Inside you'll find Dr. Rotson's body, who's a dead ghoul. But his body will actually despawn. So this is actually footage from an older playthrough with me picking up the skill book. But as you can see here, his body disappeared for whatever reason. And there's also a crazy Mr. Handy in here that will attack you the first time, but as you can see, it's also gone. So I've seen some speculation as to what Dr. Rotson was doing here. The two ideas is that he was either looking for a cure for ghouls, or he was trying to make a ghoul army. The second part sounds a lot cooler. Anyway, all of the food and drink in here is irradiated, of course. So there you have it, the Mesquite Mountain Range, a place I never knew existed in Fallout until recently. It's a really cool place, and it's right near the beginning of the game, and of course, it's very important for Fallout's history. It's one of the locations of an atomic bomb. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to another episode of the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're looking at Coyote Tail Ridge, kind of maybe a callback to my first video, and also Bitter Springs. These two locations are right next to each other. So as you approach Coyote Ridge Tail, be aware there's lots of cazadors, which is my most hated enemy in the game because they are very powerful and they can be difficult to kill. So coming here with companions was really important for me. So Coyote Tail Ridge is a very beautiful place, kind of like red rocks, so I like that a lot. Now, I was actually headed to the far northeast to go to the Devil's Throat, as recommended to me by another user. However, I stumbled upon Coyote Tail Ridge first, and I'm glad I did. Now, if you move up north for this canyon, you will discover the location of the Bitter Springs Massacre. But obviously, this is a very important event throughout the game. You're going to hear it a lot, especially as you work with the cons, or if you work with the NCR. So here you can see some of the mass graves of the people that were killed in the Bitter Springs Massacre. Now, as you walk past the graves, you will discover Bitter Springs itself, which is under NCR control. However, conditions at this camp are very bad. There's some refugees escaping from Caesar's Legion, and they are in really bad shape. And apparently if you bring Cass here, she will mention that this place smells really bad. So obviously they're struggling a lot here, and if you actually notice the flag, the NCR flag is upside down, which, similar to the United States, an upside down flag is a distress signal. So kind of an interesting thing. Now, returning to Coyote Ridge Trail, if you continue making your way up the mountain and the cliffs, you'll of course find more cazadors, but it's actually quite beautiful as you get closer to the top. Now, there is a lot of cazadors and fire geckos, so be prepared to fight them. Now, the reason I'm doing this series is that something I've seen echoed by some other YouTubers, and now myself, is that when we play video games, everything is so task and quest oriented that sometimes we forget to live in the video game, to admire what the developers have built. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this series, because there's so many places in the Mojave that are beautiful and often go left untouched. So this series aims to show those areas. The next area I found was this cave directly north of Bitter Springs, the NCR encampment, called the Great Khan Supply Cave. I've never been in here as far as I can remember, and inside is a lot of Night Stalkers, and once you kill them and go further into the cave, you're going to find an supply area. They have ammunition, grenades, and whiskey. Here's another view of Bitter Springs. As I walk down, you can see the upside down flag and Lake Mead in the background. And something else I wanted to quickly show was Ranger Station Bravo, directly east of Bitter Springs. This is an NCR station, and there's really not much here besides some quest related to the NCR, but I just thought it was interesting that the flag here is not upside down, Despite being really close to Bitter Springs, it's just the normal NCR flag. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any recommendations as to where to visit next, please let me know in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Wasteland. Today we're going to be looking at Devil's Throat, but before we go to Devil's Throat, we're going to be looking at The One, an undetonated atomic bomb that only spawns if you have Wild Wasteland perk. This location is at the far northeast of the map, and it was recommended by Of Ek Galil 4079. As you can see, this location is in the far northeast of the map. Galil said far northwest, but I think he meant northeast. As you approach the atomic bomb, you will encounter 2 super mutants. I read on the wiki that it could be 4 super mutants, but for me it was only 2. One was armed with a missile launcher and one with a LMG. So, you know, a good place for a fight with an LMG and missile launcher right next to an atomic bomb. But once you kill the super mutants, you can then loot the atomic bomb. Now, this atomic bomb is the same asset from Megaton's atomic bomb in Fallout 3, so they just kind of copy and pasted it here. And as I said before, if you don't have the Wild Wasteland perk, this bomb will not spawn. This bomb is directly northwest of Devil's Throat. If you activate the bomb, you can disable it and get some energy ammunition, which is pretty good. Next to the bomb is some beds and a cave, but there's nothing inside. So as you can see here now, we're going towards the southeast to come up to Devil's Throat. Inside Devil's Throat, there are a lot of centaurs, including a giant evolved centaur. As you can see me there, I just killed it. I use the anti-material rifle, my go-to rifle in the game, and it was pretty easy to kill off all of these enemies with Arcade and Eddie giving supporting fire. Now there's this cave next to the sinkhole, but there's nothing inside of it. As you come back towards the sinkhole, there's a little dirt ramp that leads to the bottom of it, and here we can see a piece of the centaur was glitched out, and I was like, whoa, it's the Devil's Throat. But actually, this place is based on the real-life Devil's Throat sinkhole located in Gold Butte National Park or National Monument. So this is a real place in real life. It might look like an atomic bomb went off here, but it looks like it was just a disposal site for radioactive material. We have a truck at the bottom of it and pools of radioactive water. Inside the truck is a prospector who has the unique party hat, really cool. And we can also get the CZ57 Avenger, a unique minigun in Fallout New Vegas. So overall, this place was pretty cool to explore, and I'm glad that it was recommended to me. Also, the nearby, the undetonated nuclear bomb, was also pretty cool. This is a place I'm pretty sure I've never visited before, so I had a lot of fun exploring and going here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have any recommendations in the future, please let me know in the comment section below. So as I said, this area is east of the Colorado. The only other places are Caesar's Legion.
So that was a fucking lot.
Hello everyone, Army of Otters here, and welcome back to an episode of the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be checking out Blue Paradise Vacation Rentals and Lakelurk Cove. So yeah, in my Deathclaw episode, I lied. I incorrectly said that Deathclaw Promontory is the only place where you can go east of the Colorado River that isn't Caesar's Legion, and that was wrong. So if you go to the far southeast of the map, you're going to find a place called Blue Paradise Vacation Rentals. This is a place I've never been before, and it's pretty remote. As you can see here, it's directly south of Cottonwood Grove, and as you approach this place, you encounter a ton of Lakelurks. In the other Fallout games, you have Mirelurks, but honestly, I think Lakelurks are much more terrifying because of their, humanoid appearance. So as you approach Blue Paradise Vacation Rentals, you're going to see some abandoned like vacation homes, umbrellas and picnic tables, and like I said before, lots of Lakelurks. So having the anti-material rifle was really useful to get rid of them. So once you kill all of the Lakelurks, you can enjoy the scenery and beauty of this place. Right on the edge of the Colorado River, this place is very quiet and peaceful once all the enemies are dead. Now, 2 of the sunken beach houses are actually accessible, but there is not much inside of them besides like a lot of empty Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles. And in this one, there was sexy nightwear in one of the cabinets. But besides that, there is not a whole lot in here. But interestingly, the water inside both of these cabins is irradiated. However, the water outside of the cabins is not irradiated. So it's an interesting, like, glitch or just kind of oversight in development. And also over here to the southwest, you can find 2 graves. So I just thought it was interesting and wondering who is buried here and what their story is. So as the morning sun rose up, I decided to go across the Colorado River to Lakelurk Cove. This is directly east of Blue Paradise Vacation Rentals. And on this side, there are a ton of Lakelurks. Now, it's not nearly as difficult as Deathclaw Promontory, but as I mentioned before, I was incorrect in saying Deathclaw Promontory is the only non-Legion place on the east side of the Colorado River. And as I read on Reddit, there is another place called Lake Mead Cave that's technically on the east side of the Colorado River. Again, that's non-Legion. So that sounds like a good idea for another video. But for now, we'll keep exploring Lakelurk Cove. So you come up on these like 2 peninsulas. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of Lakelurks you have to kill here. So for me, a combination of Fat Man, that gun, and the anti-material rifle was really effective at taking these Lakelurks out. And once you kill off all of the Lakelurks, you can go across over here to a little cave. As you can see here, there's an abandoned boat on my right side. And inside this cave, there are going to be 2 mercenaries who have a lot of ammunition and combat armor on their dead bodies. So as you approach this cave, you can see a lot of dead corpses and, of course, the dead mercenaries, obviously killed by the Lakelurks. And as I mentioned before, I think Lakelurks are far more scary than Mirelurks, and I think it's quite a shame that Lakelurks have only appeared in Fallout New Vegas. I think they're very reminiscent of like 1950s horror, and I hope they make an appearance in future Fallout games. So after checking out Lakelurk Cove, I went to the southernmost part of the map, and I just found this weird rock. I don't know why, but things like this kind of interest me. Like, I don't know why the hell is this rock here? Nobody's ever going to go here. I mean, I went here, but anyway. Yeah, so on the southernmost part of the map, there's just this fence in the Colorado River that prevents you from going any further. And it's really barren down here. There's nothing else you can really do. But I just thought it was kind of interesting. And there you have it. Blue Paradise Vacation Rentals and Lakelurk Cove. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let this video serve as a reminder to not believe everything you see on the internet. I apologize for being wrong in my Deathclaw Promontory video, and I hope this video makes up for my mistakes. And, as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments section below. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to another episode of the Unexplored Mojave. In some of my other videos, I noticed I said Unexplored Wasteland. It doesn't really matter, it is the Mojave Wasteland. Today we're going to be looking at Crescent Canyon and Morning Star Cavern. These are two places I wanted to highlight because I feel like they're two places I never really explored. To me, this road south of Nipton was always the barrier of the southern part of the map. So when I learned there was more down here, I got very excited because it was a place I've never really explored before. So as we come up over here, there are going to be rad scorpions. It seems like this is a common enemy in the places we've explored so far. And there's this crashed cargo plane. Now, there's nothing really here besides an ammunition crate, but I just thought it was really cool. As the way I started with the video, I just thought it's very scenic, it looks very interesting, and as I mentioned it in my Searchlight Airport video, I don't know, there's just not many planes in Fallout games for some reason. So I always get fascinated when I actually do see airplanes in Fallout games, and Fallout New Vegas seems to have a lot. And with the boomers, of course, you can even resurrect or get a plane operational again, which I just think is really cool. And if we head west, we're going to go to Morning Star Cavern. So there's a lot of night stalkers that come out of the cave, so you want to kill them. Now, as I came up here, I was really impressed by the view of the surrounding area. You have a fantastic view of Nipton, the highway, and Prim. So I really just took a moment to admire the beauty that is Fallout New Vegas. I know a lot of people kind of criticize this game for being ugly or colorless, but honestly, I really like the atmosphere, like that Western style, mixed with Fallout. Anyways, as we enter Morning Star Cavern, there's really not much in here besides night stalkers and a special night stalker called the Den Mother. Now again, this is a real life location, but in real life it's actually called Morning Star Mine, not Cavern. And here is the Den Mother, and we can kill her. She's just a stronger night stalker. Unfortunately, there's no kind of special loot in this cave, so after killing the Den Mother, I came to the Crescent Canyon. So there's two entrances. As you can see here, I discovered the west entrance. There's a lot of golden geckos in this area, but they're pretty easy for the most part. As you enter the canyon, you're going to see a lot of crashed cars, and you're going to begin to see some nuclear waste barrels like this one. And you're going to want to bring some Radaway if you go here, or Radex as well, because there's lots of radiation. Eventually you come to this like crashed bus, and it's just kind of torn apart. And as you make your way further into the canyon, eventually you can find a special item called the Advanced Radiation Suit. Eventually you'll come up on this truck. You're going to want to come across these pools of radioactive water, and there's a foot locker. You can open it up and get the Advanced Radiation Suit. If you continue your way through the canyon, eventually you'll come to this crashed train, and if you look above you, you will see a collapsed bridge. However, there's no pieces of the bridge underneath, it's just the collapsed train. And as I came out the other side of the canyon, I discovered the eastern entrance to the canyon. There's going to be some more golden geckos up here, and that's the entire canyon. It's actually a pretty big place. And as you can see on the Pip-Boy, both Crescent Canyons and Morning Star Cavern. Now, I could end the video here, but I want to point out one more thing. There's a railroad track here, and if you follow the track to the bridge, you can find a piece of the train. However, if you go to the other side of this train, you'll notice that the asset is actually a normal road. So this is just showing the rushed completion of Fallout New Vegas. They didn't really have an asset for a railroad bridge, so they just used a normal road and put train tracks there. Alright, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any recommendations for the next place to visit, please leave them in the comment section below. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to another episode of the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Scavenger's Platform, and real quick I wanted to look at Fisherman's Pride Shack. This was recommended to me by an Idiot4801, Chungus666, and John Rowell off 5661. So thank you guys for providing information and giving me this recommendation. So obviously Scavenger's Platform is located on the middle of Lake Mead. This shack, which is something I never remembered, so I thought I would show it. There's a copy of Pugilism Illustrated, but not much else in this shack. But I just thought it was kind of a cool location, obviously used for fishing in Lake Mead. There's also a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap. So, in order to get to the Scavenger Platform, you have to swim to the middle of Lake Mead. It doesn't render until you get close to it. Now, this is inhabited by a lot of Lakelurks, so you're going to want to swim up and kill them. Now, you can use the anti-material rifle like I did, and I found it was the most useful weapon against them. But it still took me a while, and I had to use some stim packs to make sure I cleared all of them. Now, Scavenger's Platform is kind of a very interesting area because it's just literally a floating platform in the middle of Lake Mead. I don't really know what it's used for. I mean, obviously scavenging from Lake Mead, so maybe people wanted fishing or supplies from Lake Mead. But there isn't much here besides a copy of the Wasteland Survival Guide. And if you guys didn't know, Wasteland Survival Guide was written by Moira Brown from Fallout 3. She's the lady who gives the quest Wasteland Survival Guide, and you help her write it. So obviously the guide has made its way to the Mojave Wasteland, which is a pretty considerable distance. But like I said, there's really not much here. There's some beds, there's a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap also on the platform, and some ammunition crates, but not a whole lot. But overall, a pretty interesting place, and you get some pretty good views of the fort and the Hoover Dam. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you join next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Camp Guardian. This was requested by several of you, so big shout out to Chungus666, Ian Boykin, and William Broad 9. Huge shout out to Chungus and Ian Boykin for all of their support in this series and giving me so many recommendations. Now, this location is in the northeast part of the map, on the northern part of Lake Mead, directly across from the fort. And one more thing I want to address, when I envisioned this series, I envisioned short videos that are easy to digest. However, this place was just too incredible to put into a short video, so I really wanted to include the full experience. As you come up on Camp Guardian, you notice some fences, and you get this radio message. There are various messages like the camp was attacked, I think I'm the only one left alive, my goddamn leg, I don't know how much longer I'll make it, Bravo, come in Bravo, etc. So you can go check it out yourself if you want to see more of the messages. And as you can see here, I come up on the Camp Guardian sign and it says elevation really high. Now as you make your way up to the top, you're going to come across several notes. And I decided to do the notes in the order of which they were written, not in the order that you discover them. So the first note reads, Day 3. This place is a mess. Most of the old hiking trails are buried in landslides, and the rest is so dusted you can't tell which direction you're supposed to go. I don't know what the hell the survey team was thinking when they said this was a strategically sound location. At least we were issued plenty of rations, and the river has plenty of fresh water. We could eat for months. Let's hope tomorrow brings some headway cleaning this place up. So as we can tell, the NCR troopers here had a lot of difficulty. The next note is caught in a bush directly ahead. Day 5. We've managed to shovel most of the debris up to the first bridge. This thing looks like a wreck. Thankfully, there were a few wooden shacks around here we can dismantle for scrap to rebuild. I just hope we don't run out of scrap before we finish the trail. Jackson says he heard some kind of howling the other night. It sounded like the wind to me. So this note introduces this Jackson character who is hearing noises. The next note is directly in front of us, and it reads, Day 7. Okay, we're making good headway cleaning up the paths. With only the 12 of us, I'm amazed we moved this much rock in such a short time. Kale and I made it to the top yesterday. The survey team was right. Guardian Peak was one hell of a view, but we still have a lot of work ahead of us. I sent our runner to Bravo to request a radio from McCarran. There isn't much point in having an overwatch camp here if it takes us at least an hour to sprint to Bravo to report a Legion assault. This note informs us of the primary goal here, which was to watch the Legion. The next note is on the staircase and it reads, Day 8. More complaints of strange noises by Jackson. I'm starting to think he still has some unresolved issues after seeing his last squad wiped out by a Legion slaver squad to the south. I sent out a few men to investigate, but they couldn't find anything. I think should keep Jackson away from the munitions until he calms down. In that note, there was a small grammar mistake. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. The next note is found in a bush, and it reads, Day 12. We managed to get the rest of the path cleared. Some pre-war fencing was mostly intact, and we were able to set it up as a makeshift barrier on the more dangerous cliffs. I hope none of these jarheads fall off. We found a few cave entrances as we were clearing rubble. They lead back to each other, with just a single collapsed path which appears to lead down into the mountain. The damn survey team didn't mention any caves. I hope we don't find any more little surprises. And with that journal entry, we learn about caves beneath Camp Guardian. As we continue our way up towards the peak of Camp Guardian, we're going to encounter some rad scorpions. No problem for me, Eddie, and Arcade. Now this path is really windy, and you can discover a lot of the old world relics here, like picnic tables and grills. There's also some crops and a scarecrow that I'm assuming the NCR put here as they anticipated a more permanent setup. Now, as someone who loves hiking, this quest got me thinking. In a world such as Fallout, hiking is not really such a concept because this old hiking trail is now such a dangerous place in the post-apocalyptic world. We discover our next two notes on this cliff, the first of which reads, Day 13. It's been almost a week and still no sign of a radio from McCarran. I'm sending a runner to Bravo to see if they can spare a handheld or any other radio gear until McCarran can get around to sending the gear I requested. I swear, those dumb bastards back at command expect us to use carrier pigeons or something. And the next note on the edge of the cliff reads, Day 14. It's been a week and still no sign of a radio from McCarran. At least Bravo was nice enough to give us a handheld so we can relay to them in the meantime should Caesar try anything. Halford will get the radio set up if and when it finally arrives. For now, he's in charge of the handheld and daily reports to Bravo. In the note before this one, I found it really interesting because they mentioned carrier pigeons, which were used in the First World War, which means the NCR has some pretty good history education if soldiers know about World War I and the tactics used by the soldiers during that time period. As we continue up the stairs, we finally reach the peak and see that two-headed bear flag marking the camp here at Camp Guardian. The place is overrun with giant rats, and the camp has clearly been abandoned by the NCR troops which used to inhabit it. As we cross the bridge and discover Guardian Peak, we find the next note. Day 15. The handheld is working well enough, and we finished building steps up the steeper sections of the path. We can finally move the rest of our gear to the top. Last night, Jackson came screaming into the tent, swearing up and down he saw shadows moving in the water. I know legionaries are known to be fast runners, but swimming across the river, I sent half of the men in pairs to search the area, but again, we came up empty-handed. I'm starting to think Jackson is unstable and may need counseling. I'll request a replacement when we get the radio from McCarran. Here we can see Sergeant Banner, who wrote all of these journal entries, is becoming distrustful of Jackson. The next note reads, Day 18. We finally got the radio from McCarran. I've set it up on the peak so anyone on Overwatch duty can quickly radio in if the Legion makes a move. I'd like to know which genius back at command decided to send a squad to this location, but didn't think to give us a radio so we could actually call in an attack. Probably another politician's son. This note serves as a reminder to the nepotism that we can see in the NCR. Nepotism is a big issue within the NCR and is what hurts it as a faction that can benefit the Mojave Wasteland. The next note reads, Day 19. Okay, now I'm starting to hear noises. During my watch last night, I definitely heard splashes down in the water. I requested an additional survey from McCarran, but they blew it off as nerves. Fish don't make that much damn noise. I sent down half of the squad with lamps, but they couldn't see anything. We can't find any other cave openings. Maybe I've caught a little crazy from Jackson. I wish we had some cat's eye. Can't see shit at night. And here we can see Sergeant Banner is getting a little uneasy as he too is beginning to hear those noises that Jackson heard. At the top, we can find the ham radio that Banner talks about in the final note next to this chair and binoculars. Day 20. More surprises. Collins came across a cave entrance right behind our damn tent. The survey team should have caught this if they've done a thorough job. I have no idea if anything is in there, but we don't have the manpower to deal with any serious pests. I'm going to have some choice words for Burke the next time I see him. This isn't the first time that idiot skipped over details while surveying an area. I hope to God we're not sitting on some kind of nest. I'm going to send in Frakes and Guardians to scout the caves tomorrow. If we have to, we'll use explosives to collapse the cave. As you read through all of these notes, you come to a realization of where you are. You're on top of Guardian Peak, where these NCR soldiers were and are now missing. There's some kind of horror lying beneath the mountain. You're treated with a truly majestic view of the fort and Lake Mead, but something terrifying is just beneath your feet. Back at the NCR camp, we can find that it was left in chaos. Bottles and cans are everywhere, and behind the tent is a cave. As we enter this cave, we see a crate with C4 on top of it. This is clearly the crate that Sergeant Banner was talking about to collapse the tunnel in case something bad was down here. As we continue further into the cave, we eventually will discover a dead Lakelurk and then an injured NCR soldier. If we have medicine or a high enough medical stat, we can help out Private Halford.
I didn't think I'd ever see another human face down here. He must be the backup I've been calling for. Where are the rest of your men? Shit. Have you any damn idea what lives in these caves? We need to get out of... We need to go now! I managed to kill that thing, but not before it mangled my leg all up. No way I'm walking out of here like this. I've been keeping quiet and hoping they don't realize one of their buddies is missing. We need to get out of here before they come back. Thanks a lot, Doc. I think I should be able to walk out of here now. I don't want to risk running into a pack of those freaks alone, though. Could you escort me out of here? You haven't seen what they did to the other troopers, and I'd rather not find... All right, you have a point. Can't guarantee I'll be much help against their numbers, but I'll do what I can. Chances are we... Over here. Thanks for getting me out of there. I better get started back to California. I know, but now that I can see the way out, I'm not so sure. I'm gonna start heading back to California now. I'm not about to let myself get killed by future NCR incompetence. If you find my friends, please return their dog tags to the NCR. People need to know what happened here. If they won't listen, do what you can to make them listen. The dead need to be avenged.
Now, after leading Private Halford back to the entrance, I actually got a kind of glitch, because he said he was going to leave for California, but instead of leaving this entrance, he decided to try to run through the entire cave to the other exit. And reminder, I have not cleared out this cave of Lakelurks yet, so he's essentially committing suicide. After Halford was killed, I continued my journey into the cave. There were several Lakelurks that I had to take out with the help of Eddie and Arcade Gannon. Now, as I mentioned before, Lakelurks are really scary to me because they remind me of 1950s horror, and as a kid, I absolutely hated Lakelurks. Somebody else commented that Mirelurks are more scary, but to me, Mirelurks are just giant crabs, and I love crabs, they're so delicious. Whereas these Mirelurks are very reminiscent of the monster from the creature from the Black Lagoon, and this overall, they look much more scary to me. Of course, you can have your own opinion, but I really hope Lakelurks make a return in future Fallout games. Eventually, you get to this main chamber with the Lakelurk King, and you discover several dead NCR, and you can take their dog tags. Now, upon killing the Lakelurk King, it will actually send the rest of the Lakelurks into a frenzy, and they will attack each other, making it easier for you. So if you come here, you want to target the Lakelurk King, but that can be a bit difficult since he's surrounded by several Lakelurks. After eliminating all the Lakelurks, I was able to enjoy the true beauty and horror of this place. As you enter this final chamber, you will find a shallow pool of water. At the end, you will find the exit, and all you have to do is swim down and go through, and you will be welcomed by the warm and safe Mojave sunlight. This is truly one of the most incredible experiences I've had in this game, and I cannot believe after how many times I've played through this game, I've never seen this place and I've never experienced it. So I just want to give a sincere thank you to all the people who recommended this and for watching this long video. If you guys have any more recommendations on where you want me to visit next, please leave them in the comment section below. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Devil's Gullet, Yangtze Memorial, and Goodsprings Cave. All of these are directly east of Goodsprings, right near the beginning of the map. Now I had very little knowledge about two of these places, and this was actually recommended to me by Jill Ware 4929, so thank you very much. Of course it's interesting to me. Anyways, these places, like I said, are right near the beginning of the game. Now, the first place I wanted to show was the abandoned shack and the Yangtze Memorial. Now, these are two places I actually knew about because I've used the abandoned house in the past as player housing. Now, when you first go here, there's going to be a lot of rad scorpions, which can make the area difficult for new players and kind of discourage new players from coming here. So, inside the abandoned shack, you just have a little setup and there's a fire going, so maybe it was abandoned recently. But you can use this place as player housing to store items, and also there's a lot of ingredients in here and a 9-iron. So honestly, a very, very cozy and good place, I think, for housing. The next location is the Yangtze Memorial. This is actually based on a memorial in San Diego. Here we can see the Deathclaw sign warning to not go into the quarry. This memorial is dedicated to soldiers who died during the Yangtze, I hope I say that right, Yangtze campaign when the United States invaded China in the Fallout universe. The next location is the Devil's Gullet, which is also a real location in real life. Again, this is really close to Goodsprings, and it's just another hole in the ground, kind of similar to the Devil's Throat, but it is a lot smaller. And there isn't much here, but I think it is pretty cool that Obsidian tried to include so many real-world locations in this game. It really gives it an authentic feeling, which is really cool. At the bottom of the Gullet, you can find a Sunset Star Sarsaparilla bottle cap. But besides that, there is not much here. You can kind of go inside this truck, but again, there's not much inside besides a lot of barrels. There's an ammunition crate with a little bit of ammunition, and it's only surrounded by coyotes, so maybe a good place to loot at the beginning of the game. If we continue southwest, we will discover Good Springs Cave right alongside the road that leads to Good Springs. This is a location I actually didn't really know about. So as we can see here, here's the three locations: Good Springs Cave, Yangtze Memorial, and the Devil's Gullet. Inside this cave, we find it is inhabited by a lot of coyotes. These coyotes are pretty easy to kill when you're my level, but apparently these can be overwhelming to new players, so do be careful if you go here early in the game. But for me and my knock-knock axe, it was very easy. Now, you're going to find a bunch of dead bodies in here, including another dead Bright follower from Jason Bright's cult. It's very similar to Coyote Den that's near Nipton, so very interesting that these Bright followers are having issues with coyotes. There's also a lot of merchants you can loot which have caps and ammunition, so it is a good place to go towards the beginning of the game. And there you have it, 3 locations near the beginning of the game that are easy to miss. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you have any recommendations about where to go next, please leave them in the comment section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to another episode of the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at the New Vegas sign, which is just outside Camp McCarran. Now, McCarran is not an unexplored area, really, obviously very common if you're doing an NCR playthrough. However, on the very outside of McCarran is the New Vegas sign, a sign I never really knew where it was until recently. But this sign is very famous because it's featured in the intro, as we can see here. As we can see in that video, that ranger is kind of standing behind the New Vegas sign, and if we come look, there actually is some kind of platform behind it. However, we ourselves cannot go up there, unfortunately. Now I want to point out, since we are here, as Weatherboy1102 mentioned in my Searchlight Airport video, Camp McCarran is the real-life international airport for Las Vegas. However, in our world, it's been renamed to Harry Reid International Airport because Harry Reid was the senator, late senator from Nevada, who also served as the Senate Majority Leader for a good chunk of time. So I just thought it was really cool. Also, Harry Reid is from Searchlight, Nevada. This kind of an interesting bit of information. And in case you didn't know, here we can see Camp McCarran and like the New Vegas Strip and where the sign is. I also wanted to point out some interesting tidbits about the sign. The E in new is a backwards 3, and also we can see a smiley face in the O of the welcome portion. So just kind of interesting that this sign still exists, and it's been through a lot of wear and tear, but really cool nonetheless. I also wanted to come take a look down here next to where that fiend got shot during the cinematic. So here we can see the El Rey Motel, which is visible in the cinematic as we watch the bullet, which means this is the car where the fiend gets shot. So pretty cool, and you can see it's a considerable distance from the sign, so that ranger is definitely a pretty damn good shot. And while we're here, I decided to go ahead and check out El Rey Motel because it's not a place I can remember very well. But from what I read on the wiki, this place is pretty much a copy of the motel in Novak. However, this one's seen a lot more wear and tear. There's a lot of chem addicts in the area, and only 3 rooms are accessible. This bottom room is the most interesting because inside there are some of these scorpions, and we can find a note on the table over here which reads, Your debt still remains unpaid. We have warned you twice. There will not be a third warning, only consequences. You have 1 day. And over here we can find a dead wastelander, so maybe the scorpions were the consequence. Now, there's 2 more rooms on the top, but there really is not a whole lot in them, besides I could find a very small amount of caps and then some chems and medical supplies. But I have to be honest, in all of my playthroughs of New Vegas, even my more pro NCR playthroughs, I never noticed the New Vegas sign. I just walked by it. And there's so many places in New Vegas that you kind of just walk by and ignore. So I thought this was a really kind of cool place to highlight and a place I had a lot of fun checking out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have any recommendations for the next video, put them in the comment section below. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Dead Wind Cavern, which was recommended to me by Alien 9247. Kind of a challenge, imagine, bro. Well, before I even arrived at Dead Wind Cavern, I had a big question, because I ran into this train tunnel, and I didn't know where it came out. This is on the east part of the mountain there, kind of by Ranger Station Charlie. And on the other side, I found this abandoned railroad maintenance area. And I found this hand car over here, which I thought was quite interesting. But really, there's not a whole lot here, but it did kind of remind me of the railroad stations in Fallout 76. But that game was obviously a considerable time in the future. Now, I ran down the entire length of the train tracks to Coyote Den, and I could not find the exit to that tunnel. And here there was a bit of a glitch. There was some kind of explosion for some reason, and there were like body parts sinking into the earth. But as far as I can tell, this railroad tunnel has no exit. It just has an entrance, and it does not come out on the other side. So if anybody has any knowledge about this tunnel in the comments, please let me know below. So, as we continue our way to Dead Wind Cavern, I was really surprised to find no Deathclaws, because the first time I went here, there were 3 Deathclaws standing outside. I was not ready for this, and I died. So, for some reason, the second time I came here, the Deathclaws glitched out and did not spawn. However, this will come back to haunt me in the future. Upon entering Dead Wind Cavern, you're going to be welcomed with a couple of Deathclaws. Now, I have to be honest, I severely underestimated the difficulty of this place. For some reason, I thought I could use a fat man effectively in this cave, which is just not possible. So the second time I switched to my Avenger minigun, and combined with Eddie and Arcade Gannon, we were able to clear out the first 2 Deathclaws pretty easily. But little did we know that was going to be one of the easiest challenges in this entire cave. As we came further into the cave, I kept using the minigun to attack the Deathclaws. Against normal Deathclaws, it's definitely a good weapon. However, this time there was going to be a much bigger Deathclaw showing up, the Mother Deathclaw. As you can see here, she quickly kills Eddie, and then she turns her sights to me and kills me in 1 hit. This was going to be difficult. So I came back again with the minigun to clear out the Deathclaws before the Mother. After clearing out this first wave of Deathclaws, I waited to revive Eddie and Gannon, and then we started moving in further, and I tried to use some mini nukes to help clear out these Deathclaws. That way I can make it easier to directly attack the Mother, but I accidentally blew myself up. So once again I was trying to do it. I found crouching avoids hitting the stalagmites on the ceiling. Then here comes the Deathclaw Mother, and taking out Eddie and Gannon. Thankfully, I got 1 good hit on her with the Fat Man, and then the LMG was able to take out the rest, but she almost killed me. As you can see there, she took out a lot of health with only 1 hit. So after killing the mother, I was kind of stuck near the entrance by this Deathclaw. He would not push me. So I tried using some timed mini nukes, but I just couldn't get any damage on him. But I found out his leg was crippled, so he couldn't run very fast, and I was able to use the LMG to get rid of him. We moved further into the cave, and here Arcade takes a hit directly like a boss. And we finally entered this chamber where we cannot go any further. So I don't know what that chamber is used for. However, there is a quest in this cave where we have to retrieve Deathclaw eggs. So perhaps the eggs are in there. And as we enter the final chamber, we discover the ultimate enemy in Fallout New Vegas, the legendary Deathclaw. I tried to use a big kid mini nuke on him and it failed, but I was determined to get this blow. This next time, I used the same mini nuke, Big Kid, and I jumped behind the rock as I launched it, and I got a critical strike in on the legendary Deathclaw, allowing me to turn the corner and using my LMG to get some shots in. Then, Eddie and Arcade were able to finish him for me. And with that, we finally cleared out Dead Wind Cavern. This place was truly incredibly difficult. Here we can find the Mercy, which is a grenade launcher, a special grenade launcher, along with a Brotherhood of Steel soldier and T-45 power armor. As I was saying, this place was so difficult. In fact, I would say it's more difficult than Deathclaw Promontory because we cannot use mini nukes so effectively. However, my journey was not completely finished yet. Upon exiting, I discovered the 3 Deathclaws that failed to spawn earlier. Thankfully, this entrance to the cave is protected and the Deathclaws could not get in here, allowing me, Eddie, and Gannon to kill them pretty easily. Now, one more place I just wanted to show was Harper's Shack. You can actually use this place as housing for the main character, the courier. However, the Deathclaws can chase you in here, and it's right next to the Dead Wind Cavern. Maybe it's a good home, maybe it isn't, but I just thought I would show it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this video, or if you have any recommendations for future videos. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at the Red Rocks Canyons, an unmarked location in Fallout New Vegas. This was recommended to me by Godfrey Morals, Hot Dog with Mustar, and San Lorenzo 7896. Thank you guys so much for recommending this location. This is one of the coolest experiences I've had in Fallout New Vegas, so I highly recommend checking this place out. Also, this shot is really beautiful. So this location is in Red Rocks Canyon. Right at the entrance, there's this abandoned building, which I thought was kind of cool. But Red Rocks Canyon is where the Great Khans live. It is a required area to complete the main story, so I don't consider it eligible for the Unexplored Mojave. However, I was told by some of you that there is a passage from Red Rocks Canyon to Jacobstown, which just seemed really wild to me. But I did some research and it does exist. So in Red Rocks Canyon, you can actually see the passage there to the northwest or to the west in this shot. And I was just really surprised that such a thing existed. However, it's not as straightforward as one might think. So right here you can see the location one more time of Red Rocks, and then Jacobstown is that crater. So as I approach this pass, this mountain pass, there's a pool of fresh water at the bottom of it. However, if you try to climb up this hill, you'll find it is impossible, and I tried pretty hard. Had this been Skyrim with the side jumping like glitch, it would probably be possible, but in Fallout New Vegas, I could not make my way up this cliff. So at first I was really confused, so I decided to go to my left, thinking maybe that the left side was the actual passage. And on the left side, I did find like a little secret passage, but it does not lead to Jacobstown. So on the left side, you'll quickly find the Red Rocks End, and then you find a few cazadores. That was a pretty good shot, by the way. But anyways, once you clear out these cazadores, you can move forward. And as you move up through this canyon, you're going to find even more cazadores. And let me tell you, while doing this whole adventure, I fought so many damn cazadores. Honestly, I absolutely despise this enemy now. I mean, I have memories of these things being terrible, but now I truly, truly hate this enemy. And actually, this whole thing is going to spawn a future video about another location. But anyways, once you clear out all of these cazadores, you're going to discover a oasis-like area. And this area is Spring Mountain Ranch State Park, a kind of oasis here in the Mojave wasteland. And not a place I ever remember exploring really. But it doesn't have a lot to offer. It just has some burnt down buildings, a pond, some picnic tables, and then of course those giant mantises and some big horners. But nonetheless, a really cool location. So anyway, after that little side adventure, I came back to the pass. And I kept trying to climb up this, like, rockway. And I tried, and I tried, and I tried. But it's impossible. And after further research, I determined that the passage is real, but I couldn't figure it out. And finally I figured out from a mod that it's impossible to go from Red Rock Canyon to Jacobstown without mods. And there are mods that create bridges. So I would have to go all the way around to Jacobstown. So here at Jacobstown, I noticed that you can't go through the mountain here. There's like a crater which Jacobstown sits in. So I left Jacobstown and I kept to the right on this mountain. And I just hugged the side of this mountain, and eventually I found that yes, there is a path that goes in between the mountains here. Also, I just wanted to say, the view from this mountain is absolutely beautiful. This whole part of the map is really incredible, and I'm looking forward to exploring this part of the map a lot more in the future. So as you enter this pass, you're going to be greeted with a lot of frickin' cazadores. And like I said, I really despise this enemy now. Like, these things are so much worse than Deathclaws. It's not even funny. Thankfully, I had Eddie and Arcade Gannon with me, who's also in Power Armor, but they greatly helped me clear this path. So if you come here, I highly recommend bringing good weapons and bringing companions with you. So there are a lot of cazadores here at the entrance, as you can see, so you just have to keep on fighting them until you kill them all, because there's no running away from these things. They're just absolute hell. Now, something that you will notice around this area is a little bit unpolished. As you can see, this wall here, it's not a very good texture. It's obviously kind of, it's meant not to be seen up close. Now, eventually it opens up into this larger, like, area, and you're going to find some bones, a dead super mutant, and a skeleton. On the dead super mutant, it actually has a fat man. This is one of the only places in the game I know where you can get an actual fat man for free. So, again, as we move out of that larger area, we have to fight more cazadores. In here there was a weird glitch because I was reloading combined with the slow motion, so the slow motion lasted a lot longer than it should have. So as you make your way further and further into this pass, you'll eventually notice those iconic red rocks, marking the beginning of Red Rocks Canyon. So it's this kind of a really cool contrast. You have the white mountains of Mount Charleston and the red rocks of Red Rocks Canyon. And even as you near the end of the pass, there's more cazadores. Clear them out and you'll finally see the Great Khan camp. However, I noticed there was this glitchy texture, which I just thought was really funny. Anyway, As you continue forward, you will notice the Great Khan Camp, and you have completed this passage. This area was honestly so freaking difficult to complete, but I'm so happy I completed it because I felt like I was exploring and discovering a section of the map that was completely untouched. It was like I was a real explorer, so really cool. Thank you guys so much for suggesting this place. I'm so happy that I learned about it, and I never would have experienced it if it wasn't for you guys, so thank you guys so much. If you have any requests or suggestions for the next place, please leave them in the comment section below. Also, if you have any experiences with the places that I show in videos, please post them in the comment section below. I would love to hear about them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you tune in next time. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. This is kind of a bonus thing, but recently I did a video on the Red Rock Canyon Pass from Red Rock Canyon to Jacobstown. And I said you can only go from Jacobstown to Red Rock Canyon. However, Godfrey Morals posted a comment saying that he did do this without any mods and that he can make it from Red Rock Canyon to Jacobstown. So I kind of followed his instructions and I started at the Oasis here, Spring Mount Ranch State Park, which is just south of Red Rock. And I'm going to just speed this up because if you want to see more of it in detail, you can go watch the previous video. So here we are on the mini-map just above Red Rock Canyon, and if you hug the wall here, you'll find you can kind of climb it or hug it without falling off. So you just have to kind of hold down, up, and left. I was using an analog stick for this, a controller. So just hold up and left, and you can hug this mountain and not fall down. You kind of fall down there, but there's a ledge to catch you. And just keep hugging the mountain and you'll be okay. I mean, it seems a little bit scary, but you can make it. So as you come over here, you will see the other pass that goes to Jacobstown, and then you can fall off, and voila, you are above the part that is unclimbable. Now, coming up here, this hill was a little bit challenging as well for me to get up. But I just kept holding down forward or backward, and eventually my character just made it up. As you can see here, so easy enough. And then there's lots of cazadors you have to fight, and again, this path is shown in my other video, but there is Jacobstown from Red Rock Canyon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below. Until next time. Hello there. Are you tired of the protection, the hustle, the bustle, the sinfulness that New Vegas offers? Tired of having a tyrant and his army of one-legged freaks always watching over your shoulder? Well, do we have good news for you? Come on down to Nipton for a relaxing, all-inclusive vacation. Let me show you a vast and wonderful place made by God Almighty. Nipton has everything you could possibly desire, and it's cheap. Enjoy the nearby natural hot springs that will cleanse your body of any and all purities. Truly the best way to unwind after a long day of killing rad scorpions. Need some beer or snacks? Visit the 24-hour convenience store for all of your shopping needs. The attendant had his fucking legs bashed in, so he will never leave and he will always be here to serve your every need. Perhaps you want to cosplay as your favorite legionaries. Well, we have a dedicated main street to a cosplay convention where you can enjoy actual crucifixions of degenerate scum. Do you think the meat of the Ultralux is fresh? Well, it is rotten compared to the meat in Nipton. Our all-you-can-eat buffet includes those who are barely alive, so you know the meat you are getting is only of the highest quality and incredibly fresh. Perhaps you want to take a desert hike to enjoy the wonders of the Mojave Wasteland. Venture up the nearby mountains and get mauled by coyotes or super mutants. Or head to the desert to have your body picked apart by night stalkers. Perhaps you want to enjoy the sun and get your tan on as you take in that Mojave sun and all the rads that come with it. However, be careful of becoming ant food. Of course, the luxurious bungalows here are free of charge. Truly an unbelievable opportunity, as the civilians were fucking genocided by the glorious Caesar's Legion. Perhaps after a long day of fun activities for the whole family, you want to relax by the campfire. Well, you're in luck, because we have bonfires going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Enjoy the smell of burning buildings, memories, women, and children. So, what are you waiting for? Call 213-2582-858 now and get your reservation and your one-way ticket to being a slave in Caesar's Legion. Alright, hello guys, and welcome to the Unexplored Mojave. That was just a little something special I put together for my good friend Jazz780, who requested an actual vacation to Nipton, so I hope that satisfies your desires. So, I also thought I would go ahead and explore around Nipton a bit. There's a lot of abandoned houses and a trailer park, which I think most people ignore, right? You have to go to Nipton, obviously. It's part of the main story, but I think most people just kind of skip it because now it's empty, it's been massacred, and inside these trailers and houses you can see a lot of blood stains, you can see the lottery tickets, but besides that, yeah, there's not a whole bunch here. All of the houses are kind of copy and pasted, and all of these trailers are kind of empty. Sometimes they have lottery tickets or a few beds or blood, but it's kind of just generic copy-paste to make it look like Nipton was a big town. And obviously it was a big town before the Legion massacred everyone, and we can see a lot of the evidence of Nipton's history in Nipton Hall. So upon entering Nipton Hall, you're going to find a lot of Legion mongrels, just like Legion dogs, and they're pretty easy to kill. For some reason, there was an explosion when I entered. I don't know if it was like a mine or just some kind of glitch. But anyways, once you kill the Legion mongrels, you can start to see that this first floor has like some classrooms and stuff like that. And if you start to read through the logs here in Nipton, you can learn about the mayor, who was Joseph Stein. And Joseph Stein kind of ran a prostitution ring here, so Nipton was really popular with the NCR soldiers and also with the powder gangers, and you can read about how he balanced those two sides as customers and people coming into the town. Eventually, though, the Legion showed up, and the Legion offered him a kind of deal for 8,000 caps. However, the Legion really was lying, and then they came in and they killed everyone. They didn't kill everyone, though. The Legion had a lottery system where the lottery ticket determined how you would die or if you would survive. So, very barbaric, very cruel. That's just how the Legion operates. In the mayor's office, you can find a big book of science, and on the terminal, you can learn a lot about the town. I kind of just gave a quick summary, so I'm not going to go fully into these logs. If you want to check it out yourself, please go ahead. So if you read through the logs, you learn that at Nipton Road rest stop that Joseph had hid a lot of supplies inside. And so if you go here, you can actually find some of his supplies, which includes like stim packs, some more other medical and chems, ammunition, and a little bit of caps. And you can also find one of his diaries here. And again, you can keep learning about what happened. Now, Joseph was actually burned alive by the Legion. That was his fate. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of different or special video. Thank you, Jazz, for recommending this idea. I had a lot of fun making it, and I apologize it took so long. If you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any recommendations about the next place to visit, please post them in the comment section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be checking out Brewers Beer Bootlegging, which is a place I accidentally discovered during one of my last videos when I was doing the mountain pass from Red Rocks Canyon to Jacobstown. Now, when I was doing that video, I realized I had to go to Jacobstown to get to the pass. I tried to find a shortcut to Jacobstown, and instead I just found hell. I found a huge cazador nest, And honestly, this might be one of the most difficult places in the game because the cazadors are relentless. They don't stop. And I used all of the ammunition here in my minigun. And I would say, like, having, like, a minigun here is required, or some kind of really good, like, laser or automatic weaponry. Now, something that I was alerted to after making this video was that aiming for their wings and targeting their wings and bats is a good strategy. However, there was just so many of them. It was very overwhelming at times. So, if you don't like fighting cazadors, I really don't recommend coming here. But overall, I've never explored this place, and it was really cool coming here and checking it out and finding a location here, which is Brewers Beer Bootlegging, which is a brew house located here in the western part of the Mojave. So as you make your way to the back, you're going to come to this like big opening area, and you're going to see some cazador nests on the cliff side. And there's so many cazadors here. But anyways, you're going to see a skeleton and some Brahmin bones. And this location is actually directly on the other side of the mountain from Ranger Station Foxtrot. However, as you can see here, it's impossible to get to Ranger Station Foxtrot from this area. You have to go all the way around the mountain. As you can see, there's the skeleton. But if we make our way kind of back towards the southeast, we can find the location here, which is the brewery. There's so many cazadors, and here you can see me. I finally ran out of ammo fighting these things. But this is Brewers Beer Bootlegging, and you can see it here in the western part of the Mojave, kind of next to the Sunset Sarsaparilla Brewery. Now, the story here was a man named Gord was going to start brewing beer, but he was killed by cazadors before he could start brewing. So what's just left is his brew area. And if you go inside this locked door here, you can find his, like, laboratory, if that's the right word for it, but, like, his brew area. And in here, there's a gun cabinet with some pretty good guns and ammunitions, along with an explosives crate. So you actually have a lot of pretty decent loot in here, including chems and medical supplies. So as you can see here, there was an assault carbine and some ammunition. And in this room, you see a freaking awesome sign, Strategic Nuclear Moose, and God said, let there be beer. So his beer was Strategic Nuclear Moose. And as a beer fan, I have to say, I would buy that beer. There's also a big book of science inside, and then I took a nap. And you can get a beautiful view of New Vegas from this location. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any recommendations as to the next location, please leave them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Ranger Station Foxtrot in the northwestern part of the map. This was recommended to me by Letro Don Quiala Wi-Fi 1224. Sorry, I probably butchered that name really bad. Anyways, this location is in the northwestern part of the map near Jacobstown. Now, as is the case with several locations in the northwestern part, there's going to be a lot of cazadors. So make sure to bring some good weapons and allies. Here I'm targeting their wings, which I've since learned is probably the best way to fight them. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, this area or part of the map is so beautiful. It has a lot of greenery, and it just looks a lot different from the rest of the game. So I highly recommend checking it out. Now, Ranger Station Foxtrot is kind of nestled here in this canyon, and it's pretty isolated from the rest of the map, and it is a very unique station. This tower that stands in it is massive. You can see it from Jacobstown. But as you can see here is the camp, and unfortunately it seems like this area was going to play a larger role in the game, but a lot of the content was cut. And notably, there was going to be a super mutant NCR trooper here because of its proximity to Jacobstown, but this was cut from the final game, rather unfortunately. So as you approach the camp, you're going to see some soldiers and rangers, and you're going to obviously notice the two-headed bear flag. So this place is really cool, and if you talk to the NCR ranger, as you'll see me do later, you learn that the purpose of this station is to watch the Great Khans, and there's that secret passage near this area, which I did a previous video on, which makes me wonder if the NCR was using that passage to watch the Khans. Now there is a copy of Duck and Cover here, so really good, and some NCR propaganda.
Independent, and as ruthless as they come. They're holed up in Red Rock Canyon, and it's this station's job to keep an eye on them.
And here you can see the proximity on the map to Jacobstown. Now, behind the base, there really isn't much. It's just like a small little area with some trees. I tried to get over this cliff, but it's impossible. On the other side is a cazador nest, followed by Brewers beer bootleggers, which was my last video. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'd highly recommend checking out this place because it's kind of unique from other places in the Mojave Wasteland. And if you have any recommendations about the next place to visit, please leave it in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here. Welcome back to another episode of the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Jacobstown. This was requested by Weatherboy1102, and I wasn't sure about doing this video too much, honestly, because in my opinion, Jacobstown is kind of very known, like it's a place people would go to. But that's my experience, and once I thought about it more, unexplored is kind of subjective. So for like Weatherboy, the Jacobstown is out of the way and is therefore unexplored. So I figured I would do this video for Weatherboy and for any other people that might not know of Jacobstown so well. This part of the map really does not look like Fallout New Vegas, and it is actually quite beautiful. As you can see here, it even looks a bit like Skyrim. Now, in real life, this area is Mount Charleston, which is kind of like a resort area as well. Now, in the comment, Weatherboy mentioned Yucca Mountain, and Yucca Mountain is kind of near here, but if you look at Google Maps, it's still pretty far away. So this area is actually real, and it is a kind of resort area in real life as well. So as you keep exploring around the northern edge of the crater, eventually you will discover a cave called Charleston Cave. This cave is related to a quest related to the Kings and to the Doctor there in Jacobstown. As I mentioned earlier, Yucca Mountain was mentioned by Weatherboy, and Yucca Mountain was going to be used as a nuclear waste disposal site for the United States, but never really came to fruition, and it's very controversial. However, I am a bit surprised it never found its way into New Vegas as a physical location. However, it is mentioned by Mr. Radical when you do the quest Come Fly With Me, but he is dead. But he does say he visited Yucca Mountain. Now, on the southern side of the crater, you can't really explore it so much because of the rough terrain. So I decided to come around and come into actual Jacobstown. So as you enter Jacobstown on your right, you're going to see a group of bungalows. However, only 3 are accessible. All 3 of these bungalows are very similar in design. However, this first one has a Nuka-Cola Victory, which is pretty cool. The second bungalow has an average lock, but I couldn't find anything in here. So I'm not sure if there's anything special in here. If there is, please leave it in the comments below, but I certainly could not find it. And in the final bungalow that I explored, I noticed there was a lot of like gambling stuff, chips and like a chessboard, card decks. And here at this table, you have a really cool atmosphere. You have a skeleton that appears to have been killed by his opponent. So I just thought it was a really cool atmosphere that matches New Vegas. And here we have like a little outdoor eating area with picnic tables and lights. And I just thought it was very scenic and very beautiful. So inside the actual lodge, on the right is where the researcher or the doctor is. So I decided not to show that area because I feel like many people would know that. But on the left side, you have a room full with pool tables, but no pool balls, so obviously it's not really being utilized. Then on the reception desk, you have the snow globe worth 2,000 caps to Mr. House's wife. And then behind the reception desk, you have a series of rooms. However, all of these rooms are very similar in design. They have bedrolls or just some outdated furniture. And then on the opposite side, you have the kitchen. And again, you have more of these rooms that are being used for whatever. It's nightkin, so it doesn't seem like there's much, actual usage of these rooms happening besides for sleeping. And on the upstairs, again, you just have more of these rooms. They have beds, furniture, just kind of like typical hotel rooms. Not a whole lot going on. You had some safes and stuff, but I didn't want to break into them because I wanted to remain friendly with Jacobstown. But yeah, just tons of rooms that are the same, and then a bathroom. However, this room appears to have a bit more chaos. You have shelves laying all over the place and just some chaos. Then on the second floor, you also have an exit where you can get a nice view of Jacobstown. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any other recommendations on where to go, please leave them in the comments section below. Thank you so much again, and until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be checking out Silver Peak Mine, a location kind of near Jacobstown in the northwestern part of the map. This area is very beautiful, it's very green, and I just love the atmosphere on this part of the Mojave Wasteland. So as you approach the mine, it's kind of near the main road actually, and it's just this shack inside of a mountain. And here you can see its location to Jacobstown and Vault 22, kind of right in between them. So once you enter the mine, you're going to find kind of like a house or like an indoor area where miners might sleep and eat and repair tools or whatever. There's not much in here besides a copy of Tumblers Today, which will increase your lockpicking skills. So that is really good, and obviously something many people would search for. Now inside the actual mine, it's one of the locations we can find the Remnant's Power Helmet. And it's the only location outside of doing the Arcade Ganon quest line. So obviously a very good piece of armor, and the other piece, the torso, is found in Deathclaw Promontory, which I already made a video about. So as you come down through the mine, you're going to find this like open chamber. However, there's not much in here. You have some like wooden crates, and then you have some mine carts. And I just thought these mine carts were kind of interesting because we don't appear to see any kind of like tracks inside the mine. So it just kind of fascinated me. So inside you're going to find a lot of cazadors, and I've been fighting a lot of cazadors. If you come to the northwestern part of the map, make sure to bring good weapons and good armor. A lot of people have been giving me recommendations in the comments, and the two things I've learned is flame weapons are really good against cazadors, and to shoot at their wings because it like disables them and makes it a lot easier to kill them. Now I've seen a lot of people say that this place is very difficult. However, I don't think it's as difficult as Brewers Beer Bootlegging, which I did a previous video on. To me, that place was far more difficult because I just thought the cazadors were overwhelming. So as you clear out that main room, you're going to find this other part that kind of ramps up or slopes up to a second level. And there's going to be more cazadors along this path, so you're going to want to kill them. And then as you get to the second level, you're going to find this gate. And once you get ready to open the gate, you're going to see a dead skeleton and then the Remnant's Power Helmet laying next to the skeleton. Now, after I picked up the helmet, the legendary Cazador and some of its followers spawned, but Eddie and Ganon made very quick work of that issue, of that legendary Cazador. So, very fortunate to have companions with me, and it made this place a lot easier. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any recommendations as to the next place to visit, please post them in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. everyone, the Army of Otters here. Welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Horowitz Farmstead along with Mercenary Camp, aka the Alien Landing Zone. This is recommended by Ian Boykin and Akos Veros 8161. Thank you for recommending this place. This is one of my favorite places in the game, so I was really happy to do a video on it. So, on Horowitz Farmstead, you're going to find some of these vipers. But they're pretty easy to kill, especially once you're a higher level. I'm just using Knock Knock here, which is a special axe in Fallout New Vegas, and it was pretty easy to kill them. But really, there's not much at this farmstead. These barns are pretty empty. However, in this barn, there is a Star Sunset Sarsaparilla cap. But besides that, there's not a whole lot here. Ammunition, medical supplies, you know, typical Fallout loot. But nonetheless, I decided to take a look around and see what I could find. So next to that farm, you have this other building with one of those pickup trucks from New Vegas that I love those designs. But unfortunately, this building is not accessible. You have some like wheat silos out here, but they're not really, I mean, there's not much point to going inside it anyway. You do have some that are collapsed and you can go inside of those, but they're exactly what you would expect. Here I sped it up because this building, there's no door whatsoever, which is kind of funny. There's no door on the texture pack that even hints at an entrance. And inside you can just see it's just dirt. There's nothing inside of it. And here's the inside of the silo, but, you know, not much. And then this building is also closed off. So it left me wondering if there was supposed to be more going on here, but it was cut. I'm not for sure. I couldn't find anything about it, but it just seemed very barren. Now, if we head north, we can find the Mercenary Camp, or the Alien Landing Zone. And here, as you can see on the map, this area is in the far northern part of the map, and there's the farmstead, and just north is the aliens. Now, if you don't have the Wild Wasteland perk, this area will just be a mercenary camp. But the mercenary camp does have the unique weapon, YCS/186, a unique Gauss rifle. However, if you have Wild Wasteland, then it turns into the alien landing area. And of course, the alien has the unique blaster, Alien Blaster. And as you can see there, as I was trying to film the scenic shot, the aliens got mad at me, the alien captain. Now, in theory, it's possible to kill the alien captain, and the other two aliens won't be aggressive towards you, which is interesting. Anyways, I use the anti-material rifle, which, if you can't tell, is my favorite gun in the game. I use it quite frequently, but it was pretty effective against the aliens, especially since I was far away, and they were using pistols. But here we can see the spaceship, which is the same model as Fallout 3, and then of course the alien blaster. The only issue with the alien blaster though is the ammo is limited. That 170 shots is the most you can get. And there you have it, folks, the Zetan landing area. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any recommendations for future locations, please post them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave, the Army of Otters here. Today we're going to be looking at Brooks Tumbleweed Ranch in the far northern part of the Mojave Wasteland. This ranch is inhabited by a Nightkin, and that will start the unmarked quest, Wind Brahmin Wrangler. So this location is really cool. As you can see, it's in the far north of the map, almost the northernmost location, but Nellis Air Force Base is further. Now, on first glance, there isn't much here, and as you can see, I'm in here during the daytime. There's a collapsed silo that has nothing in it, a little shack with nothing in it, and then we can see there is a, house here. And if you go inside the house, there's some loot. However, if you take the loot, it is considered stealing, so you lose karma. But inside, we can also find some tumbleweed, so it's true to its name, that's for sure. But as you can see, everything is considered stealing, and there's like a ham radio and stuff. Now this building actually uses the same layout and the same asset from Fallout 3, the Capitol building in the Republic of Dave. But there are some stim packs that were floating for me for whatever reason, but yeah, there's not, like, there's a lot of good loot, Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap, and you can sleep in these beds just fine. And if you come outside at nighttime, you're gonna find this nightkin, and the nightkin offers you this.
You want to buy Wind Brahmin? Tumble what's? Crazy with low prices on Wind Brahmin, you buy one. All. They are very good Wind Brahmin, all caps. You not buy?
So yeah, he wants all of your caps for the Wind Brahmin. So depending on how many caps you have, that is how much it costs. And the Wind Brahmin he's referring to are these tumbleweeds. Also, he has a stealth boy on him, which, you know, is pretty good in Fallout New Vegas. But yeah, these tumbleweeds are the quote-unquote Wind Brahmin. Anyways, once you kill him or give him your caps, you complete the quest, Wind Brahmin Wrangler. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you have any recommendations for the next place, please leave them in the comment section below. And until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Tribal Village, which is just north of Good Springs. As you can see here, we're starting off in Good Springs Cemetery, and this was recommended to me by Chungus666, who has been an amazing supporter of this video series, along with Ian Boykin. If you're watching, thank you so much for supporting this series. Now, this location is not often visited, often because it's north of Good Springs, so it means there's cazadors, and at the early stages of the game, this is a very difficult fight, if not impossible. And honestly, even on the difficulty of like very easy, I don't know how feasible it is to go to this area. But here I have an alien blaster, I have Eddie, I have Arcade Gannon. It's not as bad. Now, as you approach Tribal Village, you're going to notice a lot of burned bodies. And the lore here is actually connected to Benny. So as Benny was coming to intercept you, the courier, they stumbled upon an incident where fiends attacked this camp because they were high on drugs. One of the people following Benny, a great con named Chance, went through a mental episode as he was going through drug withdrawal and flashbacks to the Bitter Springs Massacre, and he charged into battle, forcing everyone else to fight for him. Now, actually, Chance died in the battle, but in the Tribal Village now, you can see the remnants of that battle. And Benny and the Grey Khans actually buried Chance near the Tribal Village, which I will show later. But here there's some loot, you have some medical supplies and ammunition, and there's also a lot of chems left over from obviously all the drugs and stuff that was happening in this incident. Now, from this location, you can get some incredible views of New Vegas and the Mojave Wasteland. But if you come to the southeast and you come up this hill, you can find Chance's grave. And inside Chance's grave, you can find Chance's knife, which is a special item in Fallout New Vegas that is a pretty good melee weapon. So make sure if you come here to bring a shovel, like Chungus recommended to me, that way you can get the knife, which is pretty good. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any recommendations for the next video, please leave them in the comment section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here. Welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Searchlight East Gold Mine. This is located just south of Camp Searchlight. Now, the entrance here is kind of unique, and it's not anywhere I've been before, so I thought it was just kind of a really cool entrance. You have some, like, makeshift scaffolding and bridges to help you get access to the mine. So, just a really kind of cool area. As you can see here on the map, Searchlight East Gold Mine, kind of southeast of Camp Searchlight and directly south of Searchlight North Gold Mine. So inside the cave, you're greeted with these really cool looking lanterns, and then in here you can actually see a railroad for the mine carts, which in my Silver Peak mine video I mentioned how there was no railroad for the mine carts. Well, in this mine we actually have a railroad. Now inside this mine we're going to find some vipers and a viper gang leader. So they're pretty easy to kill, especially once you're a higher level, but here I couldn't get any of them before my companions managed to kill them, so kind of anticlimactic. But once you've killed them all and once you've reached the back of the cave, it will actually trigger a kind of unique encounter. Whereas you try to exit the cave, more vipers will spawn and come walking into the mine, presumably to meet up with the other vipers. So then you can take them out as well and then take whatever loot they have on them, which is mostly bottle caps, chems, medical supplies, and anti-venom, which is obviously really good in this game. But that is all for the Searchlight East gold mine. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any recommendations as to the next video, please leave them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here. Welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Searchlight North Gold Mine. Last video we did East Gold Mine, so this will be the North Gold Mine. This is just northeast of Camp Searchlight. And here's the entrance to the cave. So sometimes the entrance to this cave can be a little bit buggy. As you can see here, I couldn't get the entry prompt, but just kind of moving around my cursor and walking backwards let me get the prompt and I could enter the cave. Upon entering the cave, you're going to come to this junction where you can go left or right. So actually, you probably want to go right first if you don't have a lockpick skill of 75, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Now, inside this mine, they're going to be feral ghouls from the NCR, obviously a result of the Legion radiation attack on Camp Searchlight. Eventually, you come up on this gate that has a hard lockpick. So otherwise, if you don't have hard lock, you can actually still access this chamber with a key on a dead prospector. However, there's nothing really in this room besides minecarts and one ammunition box. So if we go right, we can find more NCR ghouls, as you can see me fighting off here. And upon killing the ghoul, you can find a Star Sunset Sarsaparilla bottle cap. And oddly enough, everything in here you have to steal and lose karma for, but I don't really know who lives here besides the ghouls. But eventually, if you keep going right, you'll find the dead prospector, and he'll have the Searchlight North Gold Mine key, which can be used to unlock the hard lockpick. But then the mine ends there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any recommendations as to the next location, please leave them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here. Welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Fire Root Cavern and Cottonwood Crater, which was recommended to me by Serb4446 and Tank Top Bandit 2685. This location is near Cottonwood Grove and Camp Searchlight, and the Fire Root Cavern, which you need to discover first, is a little bit difficult to find. At least for me it was. Maybe I'm just stupid. But I knew it was in this location because on the mini map on the bottom left of the screen, you can see the location, and then I ran into the cliff and found it. The actual way up though is above you on this little rock ramp, as you see me walking up here, and then there's the cave to my right. So as you saw at the beginning of the video, there are a lot of fire geckos in this area. So as you enter the cave, it is surprisingly green, and it's kind of a very beautiful and unique cave. As you enter the main chamber, you're going to find a bunch of fire geckos, and the main chamber looks quite cool in my opinion. Here we can see Arcade Gannon being an absolute badass and just jumping down there to eliminate the fire geckos. Now, a big reason why this location is important for Fallout lore is, as we talked about in the Mesquite Mountains crater, is during the Great War, 77 nuclear weapons were launched at New Vegas. However, 68 were destroyed or disarmed by House, but 9 got through and detonated around New Vegas, and then Cottonwood Crater is one of those locations. And Firewood Cavern is how you get to Cottonwood Crater. And if you hug the left side in this main chamber, you can actually get around without falling off, and then you can find the legendary fire gecko like I did, and I was able to surprise him a bit with my knock-knock axe, and it was actually pretty easy to kill him. On the left there, you can actually see the evil gnome, which I'll talk about later, and I accidentally knocked him down there. But if you come down here, this gecko decided to try to fly, but Gannon killed him. And inside the main chamber, there isn't really anything, just pools of water, some skeletons, and of course it's radioactive, given the history of the location. Now, if you come to this intersection where the legendary gecko was, you can find the evil gnome, which is a unique item in the game. And this evil gnome serves as a reference or Easter egg to the lead world builder of Fallout New Vegas, Scott Everett, also known as Scotty. So if you make your way out the other entrance of Fireroot Cavern, you'll come out to Cottonwood Crater, and there's going to be some golden geckos out here, and then make sure to kill them. Now, this place is highly radioactive, so you cannot spend a lot of time here without power armor or radiation suit. But over here we can find a dead prospector who has a fat man on him, which is again one of the few fat mans you can find in the game for free. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate the support. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please leave them in the comment section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave, the Army of Otters here, and today we're going to be exploring Coyote Mines. This is a location near Camp Searchlight, and this is a real-life location, like most Fallout locations. In real life, it's known as the Coyote Gold Mines, which are north of Camp Searchlight, which is where it's located in Fallout New Vegas. So as you approach Coyote Mines, you're going to notice that there's two separate kind of locations here. Now, on the back side of this house, you have this, what I suspect is an air ventilation for the mine, but I could be wrong. If you know in the comments, please post it below. But here's the location of Coyote Mines compared to Camp Searchlight. Inside this house, you're going to find it's a copy of the house from the Republic of Day from Fallout 3. Now, there is some decent loot in here. You have some Radaway and Stim packs, which is pretty good, along with a Star Sunset Sarsaparilla bottle cap. Now, you can tell this place is lived in. You have like checkerboards and stuff like that. However, oddly enough, nothing you take is considered stealing, which I find really weird, and I'll explain why later. So on the back side of the house, you'll find the actual mine, and you're going to find it's an exact replica of Searchlight Gold Mine North. So it's really nothing new. However, it is unique is that if you go left, you can actually find a prospector who is alive. And as I read on the wiki, you can actually find two prospectors in here. And the reason I said earlier, I find it weird that nothing is considered stealing, considering we have two prospectors living in here. Now, if you go right inside the mine, you're going to find a ton of dynamite. So if you're in need of explosives or dynamite, this is a good place to come. And at the end of the mines, you're going to find more dynamite and some frag grenades. Anyways, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any recommendations for the next video, please leave them in the comment section below. Till next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Camp Searchlight. This was recommended to me by Aquasferos8161. Now, as I mentioned in my Jacobstown video, to me this is not such an undiscovered location, but it might vary from experience to experience. Also, I do realize radiation might kind of deter people from exploring an area. So let's dive into Camp Searchlight. So as you're all probably aware, Camp Searchlight is a location between Cottonwood Grove and the rest of the Mojave Wasteland. It is blanketed with radiation, and it is patrolled by a small squadron of NCR troopers. So to understand what happened to Camp Searchlight, we have to look back at its history during the Great War. So during the Great War, when the bombs started to fall, the police department sent a convoy to get nuclear waste from the San Onofre nuclear facility, and they stored it in Camp Searchlight in order to keep it safe. So this nuclear material sat in the fire station for hundreds of years and all the way until now. So here's Camp Searchlight relative to the other places. Obviously, I think most people will at least be aware of where Camp Searchlight is. Now, as you approach Camp Searchlight, you'll notice most of the buildings are abandoned, and you cannot go inside. They're blockaded off. Now, Camp Searchlight is based on the real-life Searchlight in Nevada. A famous senator, Harry Reid, is from Searchlight, Nevada. Now, in this church over here, you can go inside, and there's actually a quest in here called Wheel of Fortune, in which you have to help Logan and his gang get some of the NCR weapons that were abandoned in this town. And also in there you can find some Radaway, Rad-X, and some other medical supplies. Now as we make our way to the main street of Camp Searchlight, you'll find that again, you can't really go inside any of these abandoned buildings because they are all boarded up. So yeah, not much to do here. However, if we come over to the fire station where we see the iconic NCR flag and go inside, we can uncover what happened here. So in that corner you see some dead legionaries, and also the radiation in this room is really high. So as I mentioned, during the Great War, they stored the nuclear material in the fire station. The Legion found out about the nuclear material, and they opened all of the nuclear waste from the nuclear power plant, and then it released all the radiation across the town, killing the legionaries, killing many NCR, and also creating many ghouls. And inside the fire station you can find a ton of food, but unfortunately it's all irradiated. And in the bathroom you can find the axe Knock Knock, a special axe. However, it can only be obtained during the quest Wheel of Fortune. Next, we're going to go check out the schoolhouse. And truthfully, there's not a whole lot in here besides some golden geckos that you can kill. However, it does appear that maybe the schoolhouse was in use, maybe, because you can find some bed rolls inside of it along with some toys scattered around the place. Also, you can see the desk all in line and stuff, but obviously there's a chance maybe it wasn't. However, it seems to me that the NCR would have used it for some purpose, and as you can see here, here's the bed rolls for children. Outside is a playground, and personally I don't know of any other playgrounds in New Vegas. However, none of the equipment really works. You can't use the seesaw, you can't use the monkey bars or this little ladder thing, but it's kind of cool nonetheless. Now moving on to the church on the eastern side, it's identical to the church on the west side. However, in this church we can find the coveted holy hand grenades. These grenades are extremely powerful, but only if you have Wild Wasteland. If you don't have Wild Wasteland, mini nukes will spawn. In the bottom of that basement there were some picture frames, so maybe it used to be an art gallery or something. Over there is a trailer park, but I covered that in my Searchlight Airport video, so I'm not going to go into it. Now, there is one accessible house in Camp Searchlight. Here is Private Edwards, who lives in the house, a former NCR soldier who is now a ghoul. Everything in here would be stolen, so he now lives here. He's involved in the quest. We will all go together. Now, coming over to the police station on the eastern part, this is also involved in the quest Wheel of Fortune. There's a lot of NCR equipment in here, along with an armory that has a lot of ammunition and some guns, and you need to use this place for the Wheel of Fortune side quest. But all in all, that is Camp Searchlight. A lot of it is boarded up and you cannot go inside. There's many houses that are copy and paste, and you can tell the town has been completely devastated by the Legion sabotage. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please put them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. This is really kind of funny Cazador that's glitching out. But anyways, today we're going to be looking at Counterfeiting Shack, which is near Lake Mead and Bitter Springs, just southeast of New Vegas. So this location is kind of remote, and it has a lot of environmental storytelling, and then as you can see at the beginning, it's surrounded by Cazadors. Anyways, as you go in this shack, you're going to be greeted with a small room. And in this room, there's a lot of, like, kids' toys laying around. So it made me wonder that maybe there were kids living in here, and whoever was counterfeiting the caps had the kids. But there's really not much in the main room, but there is, like, a hidden, or not really hidden, but side door that takes you down in this basement where you find some vending machines, some actual bottle caps, and a Sunset Star Sarsaparilla bottle cap, and then counterfeit bottle caps. And the counterfeit bottle caps are worth 0 caps, but obviously somebody was trying to fake caps, and from the upstairs, it looks like they had children. But obviously they aren't here anymore, and they are dead. Now, there's not much loot here besides tales of a Junktown jerky vendor, and also some ammunition, and of course, a few bottle caps. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here. Welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Lake Mead Cave. This was recommended to me by Ian Boykin. This location is directly east of the Scavenger Platform and south of the crashed B-29. Now this location is underwater, so having the rebreather from the boomers is highly recommended if you want to explore this location. Now up here, above the cave, you have what appears to be a sunken tugboat. I think it's a tugboat at least. But really, there's nothing much on it, it's just here for aesthetic purposes. I know in Fallout 4, boats have more loot and stuff on them. But overall, it looks pretty cool, I think. And, you know, Fallout New Vegas is a desert, so there's not many water locations in the game. This video is also tied to my Lakelurk Cove video, because in my Deathclaw Promontory video, I said it's the only location east of the Colorado. I think technically this is also east of the Colorado River, so it's one of the other locations that's east. Now inside this cave, you have glowing mushrooms and light beams from the ceiling that creates a really cool atmosphere. At the bottom of the first chamber, you can find some Sunset Sarsaparilla crates along with some shopping carts. I'm not sure why there's shopping carts in here. It seems kind of random or weird to me. So if you guys have any theories as to why there's tons of shopping carts down here, please post them in the comments section below. And then over here we have some ammunition crates and first aid boxes with stim packs, so not bad. And as I said, I just thought this cave had a really beautiful aesthetic, being underwater with the glowing mushrooms and the light beams, as you can see here. As we make our way further into the second chamber of this cave, we're going to find this next chamber is completely submerged. There are no air pockets, so coming in here without the rebreather would be very difficult, if not impossible. Again, we can see these beams of light coming through the ceiling, and there's also a lot of fish in this chamber, so it's really beautiful, really peaceful. At the bottom, we have what appears to be a destroyed car, which is interesting. Just all kinds of random stuff in this cave. And then if you swim up into the beam of light, you can kind of see what it is, and it's just a light inside the cave. There's no view to the outside world. Now, towards the back of this chamber, you're going to find a skeleton with 3 suitcases that have pre-war money in it. with each stack being worth 200 caps, so not a bad find. And there's also poker chips covering the suitcases and dead bodies, so obviously this gambler had some luck, but then his luck turned against him and he found himself at the bottom of this cave. Now these fish are not programmed very well. They'll swim in and out of walls, you can't interact with them, but so purely aesthetic purposes. But nonetheless, I think this cave has a really beautiful and calming atmosphere, and it's one of my favorite places in New Vegas now to just chill and relax and listen to some ambient music. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any recommendations for the next video, please post them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Bonnie Springs, which is in between Tribal Village and Spring Mountain Ranch State Park. This was recommended to me by Josh1312, and this is a location I really had no prior knowledge about, so I'm really glad you recommended it. So let's dive into Bonnie Springs. Alright, and there's the location of Bonnie Springs. It's just north of Good Springs. Now, this place is inhabited by vipers, and from what I read on the wiki, there's 6 vipers in all, but I only found 4 vipers, so maybe it varies from playthrough to playthrough. Anyways, Bonnie Springs is an abandoned mining town, and you can tell it's been heavily picked over. It's had a lot of destruction, like fires and stuff. Now, unfortunately, all of the buildings are blocked off, so you can't go inside the buildings, and really you can only stay in the exterior, the outside part of the town. So that's like the main street, and then I came around the main building, and this viper was trapped in the wall, so kind of funny. But really, there's not a whole lot here. It just serves as a marker, as a fast travel point. But there are 2 things of interest here. One is some brass knuckles called Love and Hate, which are found on one of the Viper leaders. And there's also a Star Sunset Sarsaparilla bottle cap. And there's some barrels here, and it reminds me of like an old western town, and you can play with the barrels, but you can't search them, or they don't have any other function besides being really cool and aesthetically pleasing. But, yeah, all of these houses are burned down, and unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot we can do here. However, the environment here will change after you kill the vipers, which is pretty cool. So after killing the vipers and getting your star bottle cap, you're going to want to wait for 4 days or longer before returning to Bonnie Springs.
4 to 6 days later.
So upon returning to Bonnie Springs, you'll find it is now infested with cazadors. And also you're going to notice there's now cazador nests around the town, which were absent before. So just kind of a really cool environmental change that changes depending on the player's actions. So if you kill the vipers, cazadors will move in and take over the town. And honestly, cazadors are much more dangerous than vipers. So it makes this place a lot more deadly. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any recommendations as to the next location, please post them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Mountain Shadows Campground. This is a location just north of the 188 Trading Post. Now, the reason I wanted to highlight this area is because this area was supposed to have a lot more to it, but a lot of the content was cut and moved to Bonnie Springs. So my recent video was Bonnie Springs, so it's related to this location. Now, originally this location was going to have vipers inhabiting it, and then if you killed the vipers, a whole bunch of cazadors would move in, and it was going to be a very difficult battle. However, because of the rush development, and also because they had to make it, work on console, they couldn't make this idea come to fruition, so it was cut from the final product of the game. But this is just kind of a cool location. Also, you get a very beautiful view of New Vegas itself. And unfortunately, the top of this hill was blocked off with an invisible wall. There is a copy of today's Physician, but besides that, there isn't much loot. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you tune in next time to the Unexplored Mojave. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. This is going to be a very short video. I just wanted to highlight this area, Deserted Shack. This is a really kind of random area, in my opinion, to have a marked location. So New Vegas is riddled with unmarked locations, which I think is awesome, but for whatever reason, this little, like, aluminum shack is a marked location, and it actually has a radio on, but there's pretty much nothing here, no loot, no nothing, and I just thought it was really interesting. Anyways, this location is near the I-88 trading post and near Mountain Shadows Campground. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome to the Unexplored Mojave. We're just jumping straight into the combat. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the old nuclear test site, which was recommended to me by Weatherboy1102. If you come here, there's tons of ghouls. So if you come here, bring some companions, some good weapons, and some rat-away. Now, Arcade Ganon has some unique dialogue here, but I leveled up at the worst time possible, so I'll read this first sentence. Nuclear waste disposal. Pre-war people figured there was so much desert in Nevada, you might as well turn it into a big dumping ground.
People didn't like it, but they weren't about to give up easy access to power, not with all the petroleum drying up.
My voice is not as good as Zachary Levi, Arcade's voice actor. Anyways, this is located just south of Nipton. Now, if you come over here, you're going to see a huge crater, which is probably from an atomic bomb. And inside this shack, I was really surprised because trash here should be dead. But upon further research, I found if you discover this location, go inside and return after 3 days, for some reason she comes back to life. For whatever reason, it really appears to be a glitch. Anyways, inside we can find Trash's diary, along with a copy of Nikola Tesla and You. That's why I came here the first time. But you can kill her to get the other diary if she has been resurrected for you. She only has 1 HP, easy to kill. So her diaries reads as follows. Dear Diary, I'm so done being confined in this human body, so today I moved into the shack at the abandoned test site. There should be enough radiation there to turn me into a ghoul. All around me this world is bleak and dreadful. Is it so wrong to want a body to match it? I wonder what color my skin will turn, and if I'll be able to find a good shade of lipstick to go with it. Probably not. God, everything is so miserable. Dear Diary, I've been in the shack for almost a week now. Nothing is happening. I'm so bored, and the shack is so hot, and it's totally ruining my hair. It's like so hard to find dye this color in the wasteland. This sucks. I want to be a ghoul now. I hate all this waiting. Life. Ugh. Living is so overrated. Good news, Diary. I think it's finally starting to happen. Okay, so I do feel like totally miserable. What else is new? And my skin is starting to peel off. But I'm pretty sure that is the first step. Oh, and my hair! I finally got it just the way I like it, and now it starts coming out. Why does ghoulification have to be so unfair? So as we can see from here, the girl, Trash, wanted to become a ghoul, and it probably failed. Now, it seems like it's a glitch that she comes back to life, but hey, maybe she is turning into a ghoul. Who knows? Now, before ending this video, there is one more thing I want to check out, and that is the nuclear craters themselves. So, using a glitch, you can get outside of the map, far away from here, but I walked all the way here to see what is inside these craters. And really, it's not much, but at nighttime, it is very dark inside the crater. You can tell, like, you're not supposed to be here. So if you wait until daytime, it becomes illuminated, and you see just a whole bunch of debris around the nuclear test site. Now, this kind of reminds me of Megaton after you nuke Megaton, so I'm not sure if the same assets were used for these craters or not, but something I noticed. And if we come over closer to the actual test site, you'll find that it's radioactive, and there's another crater. This crater is pretty much identical to the other one. Now, there's also several shacks and stuff, but you cannot go inside of them. So, just something I thought it would be cool to check out, but really not much. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. In this episode, we're going to try and get to 2 atomic bomb craters that are normally inaccessible without using like God mode, console commands, or mods. Now we'll be using a glitch, and when I was researching where the bombs detonated in New Vegas, I learned there's 2 locations that are normally inaccessible, one next to Nellis Air Force Base, and one on the other side of the Colorado directly across from Devil's Throat. And I learned there's a glitch to get outside of the map here at Morningstar Cavern, which I've covered in a previous video. And you can see here though, this was no easy task, because I had to travel from the bottom of the map all the way to the top of the map. So here I'm showing the glitch, and it's literally just outside of Morningstar Cavern. You're going to see these 3 trees, and you're going to want to hug the wall in order to glitch out of the map. So you fall onto this ledge, and you're going to see this rock, jump up, and just keep holding forward, and eventually you'll just walk right through. And now you're technically outside of the map, and you can go wherever the hell you want, and you get some really good views of Crescent Canyon. I think it looks quite beautiful. Now, as I mentioned, this took a long time to get there, so I'm going to cut out most of it. Here's the nuclear test site, which was in my previous video. Here is Searchlight Airport, which is one of my more successful videos, and we can see the tunnel underneath the airport is indeed on the other side, but inaccessible, of course. And then there's no door on this building, just a black void. So, you know, obviously not much effort. You're not supposed to be here. We continued our way all the way to the Colorado River, and here I didn't know what to do, so I decided to jump into the river, which was a huge mistake. I literally followed this river all the way down to where it ended, and it ends in a fucking hole. And then you're just stuck here. And so I had to reload a save, and I was saving frequently because I was worried about this kind of issue. But I had to reload a save and retrace a lot of my steps. Interesting, the Colorado River just ends in a hole. I don't know why they designed it like that or what the thought process was, but, you know, a little bit interesting, I guess. So anyways, this time I stayed clear of the Colorado River, making my way over a whole bunch of mountains, and I finally found the edge of the world and quite a beautiful sunrise. But we have to keep going. So I made my way north now, heading towards the fort. And this was also a very long trek. It was probably the worst part of it all because it was just so flat. Eventually I made my way up near the fort, and I had to cross the Colorado River again. I was a little bit nervous, but luckily I found an area where I could get back up on the main land. Once I got up on the main land, I knew it would be possible to reach the first nuclear crater since it was on this side of the river. So as you can see where I am, kind of near the fort, and then there was Nellis Air Force Base crater. Across from me I noticed a Legion camp, and I had no idea what that was, so, you know, maybe a future video idea. Finally, we reached the first nuclear crater, and I was so happy and relieved to see a hole in the ground. It is majestic, it is beautiful, and it's pretty stupid, but I made it, and it's directly across from the Devil's Throat. And I've never been so happy in my entire life to see a hole. But, thankfully, I was going to even be happier once I reached Nellis Air Force Base. So as we continued our journey north, eventually I came to a part of the map where the river finally ends, or appears to end. So I figured I would try to cross the Colorado River, and I tried to see what would happen if you swim where the water texture disappears and you still swim, but the physics is really wonky. Like, I noticed I was continuously going down and I couldn't swim up. But when I came back over to the normal water, I could swim up, so that's good. Then I came to this texture, and I noticed I couldn't get through it, so I had to go around to try and find a way up. And now I was starting to get worried, because since the water ended, I knew I probably couldn't swim anymore, so I had to find a crossing here, and as fate would have it, I found this little indent in the world, for whatever reason, that allowed me to jump up, and finally I was able to make my way up onto the land. And from here, I knew it would be possible to reach Nellis Air Force Base. I was so freaking relieved. So I crossed over some mountains, and then I saw it. New Vegas, Nellis Air Force Base, and the crater. And as a tear came across my eye, after traveling across the entirety of the Mojave Wasteland, I finally found it. A hole in the ground. It was beautiful, it was deep, and it was so glorious. A simple hole drove me to do something so stupid, but I was actually quite satisfied because I visited both craters in Fallout New Vegas. Unfortunately, I don't have a PC. I'm using the Xbox 360 version of this game, so I'm limited with the technology I have in my possession, but I wanted to make this video, I wanted to show this location, so here it is, and I'm very satisfied I was able to do it, and of course I had to top it all off with an epic suicide jump. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please put them in the comment section below. Until next time. Across from me, I noticed a Legion camp, and I had no idea what that was, so, maybe a future video idea. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're looking at the eastern part of the Colorado River, and as you saw in my last video, I mentioned I was going to cover this Legion camp that I could see from the other side of the Mojave. Also, big shout out to Black Sheep Indefinitely 2264, David Chrisman Q71, HKP Q7PE, and Chungus 666. All of you wanted to see this video, and I know many others did too, so thank you. And as you can see here, the Legion camp is visible from the fort. So pretty cool. Now it's just kind of here for decoration. However, I would imagine it was going to have a larger purpose. But a lot of the Legion's content, and the Legion was supposed to have a larger presence east of the Colorado, was cut from the final game because of the rush development. So all that we are left with are empty tents that have no hit detection. They're just there for texture to be visible to the player. However, these fire pits do have a hit barrier, and you can actually hear a fire going even though the fire isn't visible. And there was the location on the mini-map. So kind of a cool place, and I imagine this was the original area for the player to be taken to from Cottonwood Cove. Right, when you go to Cottonwood Cove and you talk to the Legion, they will take you to the fort, and you just spawn inside the fort. Maybe you were supposed to start at that camp originally and then walk all the way. I don't know. But I walked up to the fort, but you cannot get inside. There's the front door and another door. However, there is an invisible barrier here. However, you can still see the legionaries inside the camp, which I thought was interesting, and you can actually shoot at them, which again I thought was really interesting. I don't know why that's a thing. So after fighting the legionaries, I decided to go visit Hoover Dam, which is just on the other side of the fort. Now, I just want to say that Hoover Dam in this game is really amazing. Obsidian did a really good job bringing it to scale. As someone who's been to Hoover Dam, it just looks really impressive. However, I found out there was another invisible barrier preventing me from going to Hoover Dam. However, as you can hear, the game started playing the final music, the final battle music, Damnation. So I was walking over here, and then something very unexpected happened, and so I'm showing this all because people might want to try to replicate it. So after feeling a bit disheartened, I was making my way toward Leggett's camp, and then something very, very unexpected happened. I hit a random loading screen, and then I spawned on Hoover Dam and discovered Hoover Dam. And I was on the eastern portion of Hoover Dam, which is normally inaccessible until the final battle. And I couldn't really interact with much, besides I could go inside the intake tower. And there's not much in here, though, but I just thought that was kind of cool. And I couldn't interact, but I could hear the plane flying over from the boomers along with the music. So that was really weird. So I decided to take this time to look around and explore Hoover Dam a bit. I went down the overfill, but there's nothing really inside. In real life, this is just a giant black hole, In Fallout, they did not recreate that. I mean, it's still kind of like a black hole there, but you can't fall inside. And then I came over here to this legionary and his dog, but I can't really do anything with him, and I could not enter the door to the Legate's camp. And then I hit another invisible wall. However, this one was easy to go around. I just kind of walked to the edge of the cliff, and I could go around it. So very easy and very interesting. And here there was I don't know what these are actually though in real life. They're here as well. They're just part of the dam. If somebody knows in the comments section what these two side things on Hoover Dam are, that would be really cool information. So after checking out Hoover Dam, I decided to head over towards Legate's camp. And I wanted to see if I could actually get inside the camp, since this location is normally only accessible during the end game. So here you can see the camp, and so it's obviously here, and you can actually get quite close to it. However, there's another invisible wall preventing you from getting inside. I was actually kind of getting stuck on it right there, and then I managed to fall down, and you're just so close to the camp, but you can't get inside. And so I looked up some old Reddit posts, and one post from several years ago showed a guy coming behind the tent and discovering the location. However, this did not work for me, and I think what happened was Obsidian moved the map marker. So here I was stuck so close, but yet so far.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
But I wasn't going to give up that easily, so I kept trying to get in, and I decided to follow the compass, because on the compass it tells you where there are locations. So I was just following the compass, and I found this cliff, and then I jumped off the cliff, and voila! We did it! We discovered Legate's camp, and then I opened up my world map, and I could travel to the Legate's camp. So here we are inside Legate's camp before the ending sequence of the game. So we managed to do it. And you can interact with all of the Legion members and like the dog cages and stuff. And it was just a really kind of cool experience. This was something that we were able to discover just by doing glitches and determination. But there's really not a whole lot you can do here. And there is no Legate Lanius, so you know, there's not a whole lot here, and you cannot go inside the tent because it said it's locked from the other side. Now, you can try to find some loot, but I couldn't find anything of value. But I just thought this was really cool, being able to go to this area before the ending of the game. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching and all the support everyone has given me and this series. If you have any recommendations for the next place to visit, please post it in the comments section below. And until next time. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Unexplored Mojave, the Army of Otters here. Today we're going to be exploring Jackrabbit Springs, which is a location just north of Nipton. This bighorn or calf will sometimes be dead when you visit because it gets killed by the soldier ants. This location was recommended to me by Josh1312, so thank you for your support, Josh. Hope you enjoy. Anyways, Jackrabbit Springs features several radioactive ponds, and it appears that these ponds have been made radioactive on purpose, so maybe some ghouls or super mutants did that to, you know, help them out. Now, Jackrabbit Springs is a real place in real life. It's just natural springs of water. So they included it in Fallout New Vegas. Now here there are several super mutants and centaurs that you have to kill. There is not a whole bunch of loot here, however you can get some Hydra, a stealth boy, and some ammunition. This has always been a location that intrigued me because of its radioactive nature, so I've always wondered who made it radioactive. Was it pre-war nuclear waste, or was it ghouls or super mutants trying to create refreshing ponds for themselves? We may never know. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be taking a look at Chance's map. This was recommended to me by Bira Life 4703, so thank you for the recommendation. This is a really cool location. So this is near Red Rocks, and on your way there from New Vegas, you'll notice there's a crudely drawn map in the sand. And here's the location on the mini-map. And this map was created by, as it would indicate, Chance, along with McMurphy and Jessup, while they were waiting for Benny to meet up with them. So this map was created right before the courier, or your character, was intercepted by Benny and the Great Khans. The story of the map is McMurphy started drawing a map in the sand or dirt while they were waiting for Benny, and then Chance decided to enhance the map with his knife, and then obviously they used like different pieces of trash to mark different locations. So each piece of trash marks a significant location in the Mojave, and here is an overlay I created that has all of the locations. The only one that's a little bit up for debate is the Stealth Boy in the middle. Some people think it is Hidden Valley, and some people think it is Black Mountain. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you tune in next time for the Unexplored Mojave. As always, if you have any recommendations for the next location, please post it below. Thank you so much. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Sniper's Nest. This was recommended to me by Josh1312 and Akosferos8161. Now this is one of my favorite locations in the game because of the weapon that is found here. So this is located just south of Ranger Station Echo, near Cottonwood Cove and Camp Searchlight. Now this location is high up in the mountains, so you might have to do some climbing. But if you come at it from Coyote Mines, then it's actually a downhill trek, so I think that might be the best location to come from. This is a very scenic location, as you can see here. Just very beautiful views of the Colorado River and Cottonwood Cove, and that's why it's used as a sniper's nest, or at least was used as a sniper's nest by the NCR. So as you approach the sniper's nest, you're going to notice that it's been abandoned, there's lots of trash, and there's also a good amount of loot still left over though. So we have a bed and some cans and a lot of Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles. So we have a Sunset Sarsaparilla Star bottle cap, some ammo, healing powder, and over here we have a book with reading glasses on it. I don't know if having like farsightedness would affect a sniper, but I just thought it was kind of interesting and adds some character. Over here you have a very hard locked chest, which for me was like the easiest very hard lock ever. I didn't even have to move the lockpick. And inside is the Gobi Desert Sniper Rifle, which is one of my favorite guns in Fall New Vegas because it's a desert sniper rifle and it just matches the aesthetic of New Vegas perfectly. And if we come over to the ledge, you're going to find a small like net with an ammunition box. So this seems like a two-person operation, with one person sleeping and the other person watching. And from up here you get some really good views of Cottonwood Cove. However, the Legion soldiers don't spawn, so you can't really actually snipe them, which is a shame. Anyways, I wanted to mention that the Gobi Desert is in China, which is the namesake of the sniper rifle. And the reason for that is in the Fallout lore, the United States invaded the Gobi Desert before the Great War. So this sniper was obviously used in the campaign against China and found its way to the Mojave. And another thing I want to add is that this location is actually mentioned in Camp McCarran in a note. And the note states that the snipers should leave this location because of its proximity to Cottonwood Cove. Also, the note interestingly says that there's no weaponry at this location, despite the fact that we can find the Gobi Campaign Scout Rifle, which is the true name of the sniper, not Gobi Sniper Rifle. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them in the comment section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at the raided Farmstead. This is a location just west of Camp Searchlight, near Mathews Animal Husbandry, and Wolfhorn Ranch. Now this location is going to feature a lot of vipers, but they're pretty easy to kill, especially when you're a higher level. This is me using the Gobi Campaign Scout Rifle. And this is the raided farmstead. It's just a trailer with some crops out in front of it and a lot of vipers in the area. And as you see here, though, that viper had a grenade rifle. Anyway, it's kind of a pretty location. It just sits right here on the road. Here's some crops. And inside the trailer are some burnt bodies, which is kind of sad or interesting. Maybe they were killed by the vipers. And then we have a duffel bag filled with some ammunition, so it's a decent place to go when you're just starting the game. You just have to be careful of the vipers. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them in the comment section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Ruby Hill Mine, which was recommended to me by Salted Salmon, ND7IZ. This location is in the northwestern part of the map, kind of on your way towards Jacobstown. So I have to say, I think this mine is pretty cool. It has some pretty interesting stuff inside of it. So this mine has a lot of Lakelurks, which I thought was an interesting choice of enemies since this place is pretty far away from Lake Mead. So the Lakelurks in this cave have made it a pretty significant distance from Lake Mead, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now this cave has two different paths, so you have one like up and to the right and then one on your left. I think the one on the left might be a bit easier, but they both lead to the same room, so it doesn't really matter which one you take. If coming down the right side, you can find a crate filled with explosives, and then you have more Lakelurks, and eventually you'll reach this kind of pool of water, and you have to go underneath, and then you'll come into the main room, which features a lot of like islands and stalagmites. So in this room, there's going to be a lot of Lakelurks, and the reason I said it might be easier to come the other way is in this part of the room, you have to come out from the water, and if you came the other way, you'd be on land. So I think that would make it a little bit easier, but overall, since I had Eddie and Gannon, it wasn't too bad of a fight, and also one of the Lakelurks got glitched inside of the wall. Over here near the other entrance, you're going to find a dead Jackal gang member who has a unique weapon, Pushy, on them. If you come underneath the water, you will find this really weird sight. You have a dead super mutant rising out of the water next to a blackjack table with some skeletons. So obviously this was being used for blackjack. How has this table stayed at the bottom of this like lake for over 200 years? I don't really know, but I really think it's a cool kind of aesthetic and just a really interesting place that you can visit. And over on this island, we have some explosive crates. Using the key we found on the dead jackal, we can get some pretty good explosives. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any recommendations for the next video, please post them below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're looking at Ranger Station Echo, and this station is unique because most of the rangers here are ghouls. Now there's two named NPCs that are not ghouls. This is located near Cottonwood Cove and Camp Searchlight, and you can talk to them, and they're all definitely ghouls, which is kind of interesting. A lot of them are probably highly experienced. If you talk to the comm officer, Green, he will tell you the purpose of this camp is to watch Cottonwood Cove.
Just the usual slave trafficking. Poor bastards.
Hey. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
That's one of my favorite lines in New Vegas, and it was said by the Ghoul NCR Rangers, so pretty cool. Now, if you come to the south here, we understand why there's ghouls here. It's because there's two radioactive craters. And I actually recently covered these craters in my video, Where Did the Bombs Fall? In Fallout New Vegas. So if you want more information on them, please check out that video. Also nearby, you can see the large radio tower for the station. Now, if you come just to the south, you're going to find a large canyon. And if you follow this canyon, it will actually take you all the way to Cottonwood Cove, which I'll be honest, I didn't really realize this ever existed before. So normally when I went to Cottonwood Cove, I always went through Camp Searchlight, but you could definitely go through Ranger Station Echo and avoid the ghouls and radiation. Just something interesting. And one more interesting bit of information is during the quest, we will all go together. Private Edwards, who is the ghoul inside Camp Searchlight that is not feral, can be convinced to come to Ranger Station Echo. Alright guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of the support. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them in the comments section below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at Brock Flower Cave. Before going to this location though, I recommend doing the quest Debt Collector. And when you find this lady, Lady Jane, and tell her that you need to collect caps for her debt, she will tell you that she has no caps and that her caravan was attacked and it was abandoned inside of a cave. And you can agree to get the caravan for her, and then you can tell her I could retrieve the caps from your caravan, and she asks you about the ROUSs, which stand for rodents of unusual size. So very interesting thing, but if you have the Wild Wasteland perk, these enemies will actually spawn inside the cave. Also on your way here you will encounter a lot of legionaries. Also I want to mention that San Lorenzo 7896 kind of influenced this location when he mentioned the Rat Slayer rifle. But like I just said, there will be a lot of Legion and potentially NCR in this area, and they will be fighting. And if you're not friendly with one of them, like I am, not friendly with the Legion, they will attack you. But here is Brock Flower Cave. It is just south of Novak. You can actually see the dinosaur in the distance, and a Brock flower is outside the cave. And here it is again, north of Camp Searchlight, south of Novak, almost right in the middle. There's more legionaries in the distance, and I was trying to snipe them. Now, as you dive into the cave, you're going to be encountered with a fork in the road. You can go left or you can go right. Personally, I'd recommend going right, especially if you're doing the quest. Also, you'll notice when you enter, you get the Wild Wasteland perk, and that's because there's rodents of unusual size in here, which are just really big rats. Anyways, as you enter this kind of first chamber, you're going to notice the Brahmin from the quest, and interestingly enough, on this Brahmin, there is Abraham Lincoln's head, which is the same asset used from Fallout 3. So maybe this is the actual Lincoln head, or maybe it's a copy. Also, just so you know, this Brahmin doesn't spawn unless you have the quest Debt Collector active, and you specifically told Jane you would recover her caravan. So as we continue to make our way through the cave, we will find this little upper portion, and you can go inside this second room. Inside this room, you're going to find some medical supplies and some ammunition, which is always good. And you can also find the Rat Slayer rifle in here, which is a pretty good sniper rifle. Now you have stim packs, and interestingly enough, below the table you're going to find a ammunition box and a medical kit that are like phased into the ground. So kind of interesting glitch that was never fixed. And then if you come over to the left side of the room, you can find the Rat Slayer. Here it is here, and then Ganon killed that rat. Anyways, interestingly, on the Rat Slayer rifle, you can see a tally mark count for what I'm guessing are the rodents of unusual size. So whoever used this rifle before had a lot of kills with it, that's for sure. There's also some Rataway and stim packs and cat eye on this desk, along with Programmers Today, Today's Physician. So really good books and stuff if you need it. And I think this place would be really good for early game since it is close to Novak. Now down in this main chamber, there isn't much besides just more enemies. But the atmosphere down here is pretty cool. The green glow of the mushrooms and like the radiation. So overall, I think the atmosphere in this cave was really cool, and you have some really interesting discoveries inside this cave. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any theories about why Abraham Lincoln's head is in this cave, please post them below. As always, if you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them below. Until next time. Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Mojave. Today we're going to be looking at the Legion Raid Camp, and you can see it here. It kind of consists of 2 levels, a lower and an upper. This is located just to the west of Brockflower Cave and south of Novak. So one reason I found this location interesting is because there are not so many Legion camps around the Mojave Wasteland. Of course, the Legion is on the eastern part of the Colorado River, and they're just trying to break through to the western part. So of course you have Nellis, the town of Nellis where the Legion is, and then you also have this camp. So in the camp I found that there were 4 legionaries, and once I killed them I could go into the camp and explore. Now I'm hostile with the Legion, as you can tell, so if you're friendly with the Legion then obviously that wouldn't be an issue. These footlockers have okay loot, mainly money and ammunition, but you lose karma for taking stuff out of them, which is kind of interesting. In this tent up here, you will find a lot of supplies, but there's nothing you can take, so it's just there for aesthetic purposes. Then down here around the campfire, you will find 2 powder gangers who have lottery tickets next to them. You can untie them and let them go. Now, their story, well, the lottery ticket phased into the ground, but their story is that they got the 3rd place prize in the lottery, which means they were supposed to become slaves. These 2 guys would have been in Nipton before being moved here. But you can untie them and then let them go. I tried to talk to them, but they wouldn't talk to me. At the lower portion of the camp, you have a lone tent and another campfire. So that's the Legion Raid Camp, a kind of interesting place in the Mojave Wasteland. Now also a lot of legionaries will continue to spawn near or in this camp, and these legionaries can sometimes come into contact with NCR soldiers nearby. So just a really cool mechanic in the game. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any recommendations for the next location, please post them in the comments section below. Until next time.